So we're totally back, right?
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night. All day.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had technological difficulties. Probably due to aliens invading our system.
Or CIA and FBI.
If you are FBI, I just want to say I love your work. You guys do some great shit. Don't get us wrong. We're not enemies of the state. We certainly are not mad at you.
Did you see Argo? Was that the FBI?
No.
Oh.
We're not mad at any. What we're mad at ultimately is that we're in a broke system, not the people that are in the broke system that are just trying to make a living. You know, I'm the last person that would be upset at the people that are. I think human nature, when you're inside of a situation, like when you have the kind of ultimate control of the people that are in the head of a government, anybody that would pass something like the National Defense Authorization Act, or anybody that would, that's like you've gotten to this incredible position of ultimate control. You can do some really ridiculous shit. I feel bad for people to get to that.
I think everyone is. I think I'd fuck up too. If I could see I could start furrowing off money, like just to get a retirement plan for myself, I would just do it.
By the way, that's Ari Shaffir.
That's Ari Shaffir. Everybody knows it's Ari Shaffir. It says it on the iTunes things.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to be like professional now? Yeah. Dude, I've gone fucking hours in without introducing anybody.
You're like, who is this? That's
I should say powerful Ari Shaffir, former #1 on iTunes, bitches. Respect. Yeah. How many weeks were you #1?
A full week.
A full fucking week. Suck it. Then, all you silly bitches, suck it.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it was really
that's
cool.
Validation. Dude.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I just thought it would like sell okay.
One of the coolest things about podcasting is that because of this network of podcasts that we've all put together, you know, that we've all gotten to this point now where everybody is, you know, getting recognized for their stuff. You know, Duncan's doing these shows where he's fucking selling out like every weekend. There are these crazy, ridiculous shows he's doing like every weekend. He's packing places.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And the club owners don't know what the fuck
is going on. They don't get it. They're like, wait.
They're like, what's happening? What? Who are all these freaks? Like all these freaks with cats on their shirts.
And they're good drinkers and good tippers. Yeah.
They're nice people. They're friendly.
Cats and weird Bert Kreischer propaganda.
Yeah, Bert Kreischer. Every show. I've never been to a show that didn't have a Bert Kreischer t-shirt.
Yeah.
Every show we go to has a Bert
I got an
Kreischer
idea
t-shirt.
with one of those, with either Tom or Christina or Duncan or somebody, that they were like, all these people go to see all of us. So they should offer like a, you know, buy 4, get the next one half price or whatever it is. Death Squad members of just like, if you go buy a ticket for Duncan and Ari and Tom Segura, then Callan is this much or whatever it is, or get a package and split it up.
That I guess that would make sense, except someone would have to organize that shit. You know, it ain't gonna be you.
No, it's not going.
So you're the one with these grandiose plans. You're not. I mean, we could barely get these fucking podcasts out. And I mean, for folks asking, we're still in the middle of building this studio. It just takes time. It takes time to put everything together, but it should be
get Mexican labor.
Next week. Closer next week than this week, but it's gonna be cool when it's all done. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. It's a sweet setup.
But yeah, man, it is cool that all this stuff is taking off.
Yeah, it's beautiful to hear. Joey Diaz is, you know, his podcast is always in the top 10 of iTunes now. He's killing them on the
what's
road.
Happening now.
Yeah,
in the morning. It does it at 5 a.m.
Yeah,
I'm living in sleep for 2 hours.
Sounds like such a bad
podcast.
It's awesome. Yeah,
he always woke up that early.
Yeah, he's an animal. He's the one guy. Like whenever I would do Kevin and Bean. You know, I have to be up at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I could always call him.
Diaz, you know he'll be awake.
Yeah, we go have breakfast together. We've had breakfast together in Hollywood a gang of times.
He used to call me sometimes when he woke up a little too early, and he would call me at like 4:15 just to see. And I'd be like, hello? And he'd just start laughing. He's like, you're still up.
Breakfast in Hollywood is a weird thing, man.
Oh, it's good there.
Yeah, it's good.
Burger's good.
There's a bunch of good places. The Griddle. What is that called?
Griddle, yeah.
But what's weird is the people that you run into. Oh. You know, it's the weird is that vibe.
Who's up that early?
Just the Hollywood morning vibe. Hollywood is such a
bunch of fakers.
Strange fucking place. Yeah, the percentage of fakers is super high.
Yeah.
You feel that in the air, you know?
Yeah. You're like,
feel
what?
Like a lack of authenticity.
Like you're bullshitting me for no reason.
Yeah.
Just ask you what time it is. Just give me a story.
It's so hard to deal with people, isn't it, Ari?
Yeah. Diaz and I, by the way, are doing the House of Blues in Chicago.
Powerful. When is this happening?
November 8th.
Powerful November 8th.
Yeah.
House of Blues in Chicago.
We're going to pack the fucking House of Blues in Chicago.
That's going to be fun, man.
Yeah, that's going to be an event when people are driving in for that one.
Yeah, that sounds sick. Look at that. Ari Shaffir, what is it like, man? Just a few years ago, you were in this like crazy struggle situation.
It's the best. It's so much better. You just get to go to these places and do your stand-up.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do is just go and tell the jokes I prepared.
Yeah.
And no one would let me. You would let me. Nobody else would let me. I'd get to the end of a week. I'm like, so that was pretty good, right? I mean, you saw that was really. You think I can come back one day at next to no money? Can I please? And they're like, yeah, nah. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, they didn't have faith.
It's the greatest. I'm out.
But it's, you know,
They've heard my album.
It's, you know what it is, man? It's like, it just, water seeks its own level eventually. And if you had all this going on, you know, if you were doing a podcast and everybody would come to see you and you weren't funny, it wouldn't be happening the way it's happening. It's happening because of hard work. It's like you're in this position, you know, it's like the perfect time for you because your act is really strong now. It's like, you know,
Somebody pointed this out too.
Got a lot of new shit.
This is a weird thing with a lot of podcast people. That because of that, the comics who do sort of an honest style of comedy, just an open and honest style, it's like that there's a premium put on that now.
Yeah.
And so they've already been doing it. So it's like, oh, good for you. You're right at the right time.
Yeah,
You're
because
good.
it's very hard to do that style of comedy if that's not what you've been doing. If you've been doing a sort of contrived bullshit act, it's very tough to drop that and be real.
Yeah, and early on, that's what everybody does. It's just like, here's a joke I wrote, I guess.
Yeah, you ever like go back and listen to some of your early shit?
I put one up for Shits and Giggles once, like an early set.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is just too, no, someone's going to see this and think this is me. It's just, no, I'm taking this down. It was so bad. And
it's fucking hard, man.
then the worst, too, is people were writing like, so funny. And I'm like, ugh, you're wrong. You're way wrong. What have you liked?
Everybody thinks they could do it, though. Have you ever, I mean, everybody that's got any sort of confidence, there's always that question. Hey, man, I've been thinking about doing stand-up. Prepared some stuff. Tell me what you think. And they'll, like, go over the stuff with you and shit.
Like,
and you're like, oh, God.
I express to you how terrible that sounds. I don't want to dissuade you, but fuck, man.
I go, okay, you know, I mean, who the fuck knows? They might be able to do it.
But realistically, if you were like, if I can give you an honest answer without hurting anyone's feelings, you would have to tell them, like, look, you've just started this, so of course you're going to be god-awful.
Yeah, that's hard for people to accept, though, especially smart people.
Yeah.
Smart people think that, yeah, you know what, though, man, I know stand-up. I listened to it. I've watched it on TV before. I think I have an idea how to do it. I'm just going to bypass all that shit.
Dude, you didn't even get that with fucking farming. I can tell you how to plant a tomato. 10 years in, you'll be way better at it.
Yeah, that's with everything. But stand-up is, what people don't understand when they're watching it is that there's a hypnosis going on. It's not as simple as someone saying something and you're reacting to that. There's a little ride that a stand-up takes you on. You know, when someone's good and you watch them, to this day, like, you get caught up in their groove, and you know you're like tuned into them. You're like, there's an exchange going on that it's not as simple as everybody wants to make it seem. Like, you say something funny, ha ha ha, this person laughs.
It's not that simple. That's why when you say Tosh does something wrong by making a rape joke, you're like, you weren't there. You don't know about the whole situation he's set up for the last however long. Yeah. He's built his crowd into something where now he can do what he wants.
Right.
Your God shit, I remember early on, you were like, I can't open with that.
Yeah.
I've tried, it won't work. You got to give him like 40 minutes of like calm down before you can hit him with that.
Yeah, like that whole thing that I used to do on Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people would get upset, which is hilarious.
Yeah, so you have to get them on your side first. And if you didn't, they'd be like, it's just not funny.
Well, it's also then, you know, people didn't know what to expect. They would come to one of my shows and they would think they were going to get the guy from Fear Factor. That's all my fault, really, by holding it up and doing shit like Fear Factor and taking money for those silly shows.
Were you ever like...
set out a bad precedent.
Were you ever like this? They had a cut where you're like, but fear is... not a factor for you.
No, it wasn't. It's never hard to do. You know, I would never be so pompous to pretend that it's actually difficult to do. It's still an amazing job.
When did you start getting high while you were doing it?
Season 2.
Not the first. Okay.
Season 2.
So you knew it was coming back. The ratings were high.
Yeah. Well, I just started getting high around when season 1 happened,
Oh.
but I didn't get high at work. See, I know what to get
You went
high
fr-
at and what not to get high at.
You went from not smoking at all to smoking at work within a year.
Oh yeah!
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
big
right
jump.
away. I was like, "This is fun."
That skipped a bunch of years.
Yeah, well, I right away went to feeling very comfortable with it, going on stage with it high.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just right away I recognize that this is like some crazy truth serum. Like it's not. It's another thing. It's not as simple as it seems. You look at marijuana. Oh, these guys are getting high and you're just escaping reality.
Yeah.
It's actually doing the exact opposite of escaping reality.
Seeing reality,
Yeah.
you're seeing it for what it is.
Diving into it
Yeah.
with the lights on as bright as possible. It's not. There's nothing escape about getting high. This is what people don't understand. It's not. That's not what you're looking for, especially when you're smoking sativas. Which is another problem with people don't know that there's two completely different effects that two completely different types of marijuana have.
I feel like telling that to people when they say, I'm sure you do too, when they say like, oh, I don't like weed. I'm like, I don't want to insult you, but
Yeah.
like, what weed have you had?
Yeah, you don't really know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And to people that say that it makes me sleepy, it's some
Yeah.
weed can do that.
Let me give you some other weed.
Yeah.
Look, this guy was sleeping at a party, and somebody drew a Death Squad logo on him.
Oh my god, that is hilarious. Oh my god. Meanwhile, how much did they finger this guy's
I
ass
know.
while they
That's
were
I got
riding?
everywhere.
Look at this. This is
That is hilarious, dude.
Wow.
They did the Death
Glass is
Squad
right-
cat on this guy's
right by the
ass.
hole.
That's amazing.
I had that once in
And they
Israel.
all signed their names all over it. Look, people signed names
Wow.
all over it.
Just signing him.
Oh my
great.
god, that's amazing.
I had a picture of me in Israel, right when I got there, because the drinking age is 18, and I was drunk, barf in a sink, like leaned over it, Doritos in my ear and my nose. My friends had put all over me, and toothpaste drawn on me. And that picture got back to my mom. I don't know how it got
my
back there, and they were so
God.
fucking embarrassed by it.
Oh my god.
Oh.
How hammered were you that they
We didn't
touched
know
you like
limits.
that?
Tequila slammers. You ever have a tequila
Oh, my
slammer?
God.
She had the shittiest tequila, put a little Sprite in it in one of those triple shot glasses.
Yeah.
You just slam it and then just drink it.
Yeah, you have to learn limits, huh?
You just keep drinking until you're throwing up. Like literally the last shot is going down. You're like, oh, wait, hold it. Bleh.
Yeah, that's the problem with drinking.
Yeah.
So, that's something we could use drinking shamans.
Yeah.
We really could,
Yeah.
I mean, there's shamans for ayahuasca.
Here's the deal. Why don't they teach you about it in schools? You're going to get into it,
Yeah,
but they
why
still
not
don't bother
though?
teaching you.
Well, let's just pretend like abstinence is the best policy. We should promote abstinence. Hey, why would you do that?
Why would you
do that
ignore
to your
what's
kids?
inevitably going to happen?
Yeah,
On
and
that trip we went into, for that second semester of senior year, we all went there. I was talking to one of my friends about it. Like, why wouldn't they tell us about drinking?
Please. People are going to fuck too, okay? They're going to fuck and they're going to drink. You know why? Because it's fun. Okay? People are going to fuck and people are going to drink. Why don't they talk about that?
You can't be
children?
against educating people about condoms if you've ever seen an episode of 16 and Pregnant. You're no longer against condoms.
Yeah, there
You're
should
you got to
be-
teach these people.
There should be a better way than condoms. There should be like a really effective way. Like somebody can give you a shot.
Yeah,
and
it's
it
called
lasts for, like, a
abortions.
The
year.
more you have to do, yeah.
Just
Too much
let's
trust
get
involved in
abortions
that.
really fast.
Dude, if you have had an abortion with a chick or gone where a girl's had an abortion, you know what that's like.
No, but if they make it good with like lasers, like bam, you're done. You just got aborted. Next, bam, you
I
got
would say,
aborted.
if I could take a shot and be like, you'd be sterile for the next 2 days. I'd be like, yeah. What are the side effects?
I know this girl that's on something that she gets a shot or something that lasts like 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
What's it
Okay.
called?
The Nuva ring?
Yeah, she's like you could total cum dumpster because of that because you can do whatever you want.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's gone. So they have like 4 periods a year. Is that one of those?
Yeah.
It's like inside.
It's
oh,
4
yeah.
years. Why doesn't every girl have
Same
that?
thing with girls on fucking birth controls. Same thing with weed, where it's like, have you had all of them? Because there's new types now.
But it's kind of creepy though that you're pumping chemicals in your body like that.
Yeah.
Like you're tricking your
Not the only
body into
thing about
thinking that
pumping
it's
your body.
pregnant. I mean, I don't know
Oh.
what is the long-term effects of tricking your body into thinking that it's pregnant.
I don't know.
Is
Ask
that,
doctors.
is that okay? I mean,
Delicious
it is.
pussy? I don't know.
Yeah.
no worry about baby? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Have them negative effects more than fucking having to work a second job at the docks.
But those two things that people can't control when they're young is sex and alcohol. Those are two things that you just
Yeah.
both of them are completely overwhelming for you.
Dude, I saw one of those kids talking, and he was just some nerd who never got laid, with some fat Mexican who never got laid, and it was just like, he was just like, no, I love you.
Oh my god.
And it was like, you don't know anything about anything. And then a year later, you won't talk to her, and they're just figuring out who's going to raise the baby. It's just like, you don't know anything.
Yeah, being a child and having a kid is
first
really
time.
fucked up. It's fucked up for everybody. It's fucked up for the kid too. It's a
Yeah.
mess. But then the question becomes, when you're supposed to prevent it, after the fact or before the fact? And if after the fact, is it just you have to just accept it, or can you have an abortion?
Of course you can have an abortion.
Of course you can, but
living in a medical age.
Okay, but to what age? How old can the fetus be?
9 months. What do you think?
I don't know.
What do you think, Brian?
What I do think, though, is that it's not as simple as everybody likes to say.
No, it's killing a baby.
Yeah.
Because we're adults and we're making decisions and we don't want to make this life yet.
That's deep. That's deep. That's a heavy decision. You know? It really is.
That's what we've put on human life.
Yeah.
Before it comes out. We're like, just
Well,
kill it.
when it comes to a certain level, it's like when it's a bunch of cells, when it's like 30 cells.
Yeah.
Okay, then it doesn't seem real. Then it seems like you could be able to get rid of it and not even feel bad.
Yeah.
But at what point in time?
How easy is
They
it?
just need to market it better. You know, if it was like
abortion,
if they had
it's really not
good
so bad.
marketing,
Yeah.
Like,
you
that's
know,
the
and like a
commercial.
clever like person like Betty White marketed it for you.
I do
you know?
like the marketing techniques they have is because the pro-life and pro-choice, when you think about just their names, they're not at odds. They're
Yeah.
both pro-choices and they're both pro-life.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Pro-choice.
Yeah.
That's a funny way of putting it.
Because otherwise it's pro-life or pro-death or pro-choice
Yeah.
or anti-choice.
Yeah, it's pro-life or pro-choice. You know,
Those aren't opposites.
that's it's one aspect of the subject.
yeah.
You know,
They're both about trying
but
to put a spin
what
on
choice
it.
are you making? Hold on.
To
you know,
kill.
you just
To kill.
you can't just call it a choice.
Choosing to kill.
It's pro-choice. Everybody's fucking pro-choice. It's just my choice is different than your choice.
Exactly. Exactly.
That is a creepy thing, though. The idea that people would be anti-choice. That's why when someone calls themselves pro-choice, it like sets you up to fail when you're competing against
Yeah.
them. You know.
You're-
You know, you can't. They're saying they're pro-choice. If they just were the pro-baby killing party,
Yeah. Who does that?
Yeah.
That's what I'm in favor of.
that's not going to make you money.
I talk to girls before I have sex sometimes. I'm like, you know, what have you had and how do you feel about abortion?
Whoa. It's a heavy conversation.
I just like to do it right away.
Ari's mercenary about it.
I don't want to fucking get in that thing where you just, I didn't know that she would never have an abortion
Right.
if anything happened.
Yeah.
Just because I wouldn't bother asking, just saying the words once, it's a little uncomfortable, so I'm going to raise some kid I don't want for fucking
Right.
10 years or however long you have to.
Isn't that crazy?
So I just ask.
Isn't it crazy that you're playing like when you're not trying to have a baby with a chick and
Yeah.
you're having sex with her,
Trying
you're
not to.
You're playing like this game of trickery with nature. Like nature's only rewarding you with those awesome feelings because that's how you make humans.
Yeah.
You know, and imagine how much it feels, how good it feels if you're not even masturbating. Like if you're not masturbating and you're just a person and neither one of you ever masturbates
Dude.
and you get together naked and you wind up fucking like, oh my God, of course you're going to come inside her. And
Yeah.
of course she's going to make a person. That's how they rocked it caveman days.
Yeah, you wouldn't even think. You were just like,
Yeah.
this keeps feeling good. And you're like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel so good. Don't
Why
stop
would they
this.
stop? They would never stop. It was people went, oh, wait a minute, baby's coming out. Pull out. No. And they had to figure out what makes the baby part.
You ever hear that
happen.
Louis bit about it?
No.
About if animals had to watch humans, like Animal Planet version of humans,
Mm-hmm.
they'd be like, see us mating, and then we pull out and shoot it on the floor or something. Like, what? You were so close. What are you doing? You were right there.
That's funny.
I used to tell my friends in college when I was still a virgin that masturbation was the same as sex. And they were like, Ari, you're wrong. I'm like, no, you guys are idiots. It's the same thing that's happening physically to your genitalia. How could it feel better? It's the same act. And they were like, you just don't get it.
How could you think that your hand could be as good as a pussy?
Because you coming would be the same. That's you coming as you coming.
Wow, that's interesting. Isn't it funny that that's not the case?
Yeah, it's not at all the case.
Like when you're really into a chick and she's really sexy, and especially when like you're a little drunk and you love each other and you come, like, oh, it's
Golly.
boom,
Golly. Just go-
boom.
It feels so good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Sweet corn in the morning.
Well, that's it's supposed to be to make you make people. That's really what.
Yeah, that's
the
why
trick.
it feels so good. You can't even think straight.
Yeah, it's a biological trick. It's a wonderful one.
I'll just
But
wipe
it's-
off the tip and put it back in.
It's made to
What?
perpetuate the species.
What?
Yeah.
If you had to think about that with a straight mind, wiping off the tip and putting it back in would not be a viable option.
Yeah.
How about this one? Just let me rub it on the outside.
Yeah.
Has that ever taken place ever in the history of the human race?
El Caco.
Yeah.
What happened
Yeah.
to El Caco? Did he go
That's on one of my CDs.
Okay, that's good.
That was on one of my CDs.
Caco.
Me llamo El Caco.
Okay, I don't put it in. I just rub it on the outside. That's the best Spanish accent I've ever done right there.
That's
I've
pretty
never
good,
been that
man.
on.
Me llamo El Caco. That's right. I forgot about that.
El Caco.
Dude, working at the store, like as as a fucking doorman and cover booth guy, just helps you so much. Watch all
yeah.
these fucking great comics, and you just watch them and learn
Yeah.
their technique and shit.
You get to see them do the same jokes a lot too,
Mm-hmm.
which was interesting as a guy learning how to do it, because everybody wants to think as an audience member that a person on stage saying something, that's the first time they've ever said it.
Yeah.
You really can't do that every time. I mean, you kind of can, but it won't be as good. Trust me. You know, it's better if we write stuff out. It's better if we practice things a few times. It's better if you get it on. Then there's certain bits. No, there's certain bits where right out of the gate they're awesome.
It's cool.
But
And sometimes
you
fun
can't.
things happens.
You can't guarantee when those are coming and when they're not. You know.
There's some dude in Indianapolis that came back to my show a second time because he came one night. Then he got my album, which was different. Revenge for the Holocaust, available on iTunes.
Revenge for the Holocaust, ladies and gentlemen, available on iTunes.
iTunes, Amazon,
Ari
CD Baby.
Shaffir.
But he was like, "Oh, it's different." So I figured I'd come back again and see another show. And he just sat up front, and I couldn't even look. He was on my right. I did my whole act from straight to left. I couldn't even look over there. I was like, "Dude, you shouldn't come back." And he was like, "It's
he
all
had the
right."
same jokes. That's so creepy. It's a mind fuck.
I feel so fake.
Yeah, but you got to get over that, son. You are fake. You're a big
Yeah.
fat faker. You didn't just think of something when you're up there.
Don't
God damn
come
it.
2 days in a
worked-
row.
You worked on it every night for 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized. No, you didn't, you fucking lying prick.
The Death Squad Ohio guys, they go to both shows. They'll go to like the 7 o'clock show and the
And the
9
9?
o'clock show.
Wow.
So it's just like, you guys.
It becomes
Wow.
a bit of a gay
You're like,
circle
come
jerk
on.
at a certain point.
But at some point, I sort of get it, where it's like, you can see like Modest Mouse or some band like 2 times in a row.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
You know?
I went to see Kinnison more than once in a row. I went to see Bill Hicks twice in a row.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of guys back in the day where I saw the same act more than once.
Joe Lozon used to come to our shows when we did Night of the Weigh-In shows,
Oh, yeah.
and there was this joke I used to make about jujitsu.
Uh-huh.
I guess I can do it now. I never do it anymore. But like, I've got the way jujitsu was invented was some Brazilian guy came home early from work one day and found his wife did not have dinner ready for him. So he's choking her because of that, fucking choking the life out of her. And the girl's father comes in because they all live in the same fucking hut in Brazil. And he goes, "What are you doing? You're doing it wrong. You got to fucking put hooks in and then come from behind." And that's how jiu-jitsu was invented. That's my theory. But Joe Lozon
theory
used to love that
sucks.
joke. And I was like, "You've seen it, though." And he goes, yeah, that theory sucks. I was like, "I haven't done any research on it." But he goes, "No, I like seeing it like slightly different."
Yeah.
Like if you're a fan of stand-up, then I get that.
Yeah, there's certain guys that had jokes that I would call out for, like when Holtzman was on stage.
Oh, yeah.
How's your gay
How's your
son?
son?
We would always do that.
Because
We
you
would
know it would
always
drive
do
him
that.
into a rage.
Yeah, he would do this joke about
Oh
his
my
son.
gosh.
I miss that dude.
Oh, that's a fucking funny guy.
I never
man.
see him at the store anymore, man.
No, he's never there. All right, I'll admit it. My son's a homosexual.
Don't-
Brody's my new favorite to call out. Like, just hear his jokes. He's
Oh yeah, we used to do that
He's
with
been doing
Brody.
hour and 10-minute sets the other day.
Really?
He's been doing really long sets now.
He closes up the main room show on,
Yeah.
on
That's
Saturdays.
awesome.
And they just
And they
say,
all
go
stay.
as long
The
as you
whole
want.
audience stays.
I'm doing the Laugh Factory tomorrow night with Tom Herrera.
Really?
I haven't done the Laugh Factory in decades.
Probably 10 years.
Yeah, I haven't done it in forever, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow night. I think it's like an 8 o'clock show, but I go on at like 9-ish, somewhere around 9:30, something like that.
Daddy Diaz just got back from Long Beach.
He said he loved it.
Yeah, we should all go there sometime.
It's too big. You really got to fill it up. I would like to
Yeah.
see what it's like full, but it's a rock venue.
Yeah, it's a cool area because
yeah.
I've stayed at the hotel
big
right
is it?
there a few times.
Here's how big it is. When they
huge.
introduce you, by the time you can get to the mic, it feels uncomfortable in that time. Where you're like, oh, I should be talking now.
Really?
Yeah, it's such a long walk to the mic.
Is it like a theater?
It was a fucking old rock place with a
Yeah.
big stage.
Tiffany
So like
Haddish.
600 people, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
600-700.
So as big as Phoenix, the Stand Up Live in Phoenix.
It's bigger than that.
Really?
And the just because there's more stage room. And there's
Stand Up
more
Live
sta-
in Phoenix is 600 seats, right?
650, yeah.
650?
Yeah.
It's bigger than 650. Wow.
Well, the scope of it is bigger anyway. You
Oh,
know, there
I
might
see
be
what
more
you're
room
saying.
to the
I see what
wall
you're
and
saying.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's right next to so many cool stores and restaurants.
That Stand Up Live is the most intimate 600
Yeah, yeah,
seat room
yeah.
you could get. Because
Yeah.
even though it was 600 seats, it felt like
Still
a
run
regular
like a club that just keeps going.
Yeah, it felt like once we worked out. If you
Perfect
came,
square.
ladies and gentlemen, the first show there was
yeah.
a problem with the microphone. There was
yeah,
like a-
the monitor. There was no
Yeah.
monitor, so
They-
you couldn't hear yourself.
There's a rider somehow. I have a rider that I didn't know.
You always have weird shit on
Yeah,
there.
and one of the things on is that I have to have a wireless mic. I don't need a fucking wireless mic.
3
Like,
wireless mics. It's
Yeah.
you know what it is.
I don't know why it's in there.
I know it's for when you do like theaters, like the Moore Theater in Seattle
Yeah.
or whatever. It was like just to make sure you have everything right. We need them because they don't know sometimes with stand up.
But even then, I don't need a wireless one.
No, you don't.
Why do
Kevin
I need a
James.
fucking
You don't need all
wireless
half
one?
the
Oh,
stuff. You
yeah.
don't need all the
Kevin's-
bologna and
It's
It's
stuff.
Kevin. I meant
Right.
Kevin James is rider. He gets red wine and white wine.
Yeah, that's why I was like, why is there white wine in here?
It's
Bring me a
also
Heineken.
strange.
It's so weird.
Or
Heineken's
Coca-Cola.
usually there too, but it's the riders are weird, man. San Francisco this weekend. We got Brian's coming with me.
What are you
and,
doing?
Greg Fitzsimmons is coming as well. Should be a lot of fun. We're
saw that.
doing
That'll be
the
awesome.
Nob Hill Masonic Center. We're gonna do that on Friday night, and then Seattle on Saturday night. The Moore Theater. The Moore Theater is sold out.
It's a really good room.
But there's still some tickets left for the Nob Hill show. So that's San Francisco Friday night. Greg Fitzsimmons, who's fucking hilarious. If you've never seen Greg Fitzsimmons do stand up, Greg and I started out together like literally like a week apart from each other way back in 1988, and I've been friends with him ever since. He's a fucking hilarious stand up. Like he's really fucking good. So I'm really excited to give you guys a fun show. And if you haven't seen me there for a while, I got a lot of new shit. So it's gonna be real fun. So Nob Hill Masonic Center Friday night, and then the Moore Theater Saturday night. I think the Moore sold out though.
How big is Nob Hill?
I don't know. It's like a couple thousand seats.
Wow, that should be cool.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see all the Asians.
Yeah.
That's a massive show.
Yeah. I just was talking to him, and I just thought like maybe it would be cool if Greg would come with me on the road, do a couple gigs here and there. He's
Like, if you don't mind.
He's so solid too,
Yeah.
and I would love for people to see him. You know, for people
yeah.
at all these shows to see him. You know, I think one of the coolest things about doing this podcast and doing all these shows is that we can all sort of blow each other up, you know, and we can all show everybody who Brian Callen is, you know, show everybody who Duncan is and you are.
Yeah, with Hollywood style of making it, there's only a certain size the pie is, and everyone needs a slice.
Yeah.
But now there's just an unlimited pie.
Yeah, there's like
So
you
just
can
take
have
as much as
you
you want.
have your own pie factory.
Yeah,
in
so
fact.
just eat as much as you want, then you're
We
done.
all have our own pie factories. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's a really interesting thing, man.
Yeah. So tell me about this hunting thing.
So yeah, so I went hunting this
Who'd you
week.
go with? With Callen?
Brian Callen and this dude named Steve Ranella.
Was this
Yeah.
a cougar hunt?
How dare you?
Bazinga!
How dare you, Brian? That's the kind of hunts Brian understands. He knows how to track that prey. He walks in all drunk and limping.
He told me he was like, "Where's Rogan?" He was like, "Rogan's in Minnesota, fucking or
No,
whatever."
Montana.
Montana hunting.
When hunting in Montana, this dude Steve Ranella, I became a fan of his show. He had a show on the Travel Channel called The Wild Within. He's an author. He knows a lot about the history of the Wild West, and that's one of the coolest things about the weekend
That's
is
cool.
getting to talk to him about Wild West stories
good
and
stories.
shit. Oh, dude, he knows everything. He knows like all the different, the incidents between the Indians and the white men breaking the treaties and the wars that took place. And we were camping on the Missouri River where Lewis and Clark camped.
Wow.
That's where we camped, and we did all our travel by canoe or by hiking.
Really?
Yeah, it
Wait,
was
so when-
fucking intense.
So when you
man.
hiked by the Missouri River, was anyone else around?
We saw in the 5 days we were there, we traveled 40 plus miles down the Missouri River.
Yeah.
And in all that time, we saw 3 other boats.
Whoa! And
Yeah.
even when you got off and was like walking around and stuff.
Well, once we got out at the very end, we were in a place where there was a bridge and there was cars and traffic and stuff like
No,
that.
but
that's
over those
40
5
miles
days.
down. Over those 5 days, we saw nothing but canoes. We saw 3 or 4 canoes. It was mostly just us, and we had a satellite phone in case we had like an emergency. And what we did was we pulled in. We got there on Monday, and on Monday we
Satellite
got in a
phone.
plane, or we got in a boat rather.
Yeah.
Rode down the river. Got in a plane. What the fuck am I talking about? Got on a plane to get there. We had to drive 2 hours from Billings to the river, to the Missouri River.
Okay.
Billings, Montana is a very small place, but a very nice, like, cool small town.
Brian, call up the map.
And from there, we drove 2.5 hours to the river, and then when
The
we got on
mayor?
the
What did you say?
what?
You just say the mayor?
No, I said we drove to the river.
Okay.
We drove to the river, and then once we. He's too high for my fucking story. He asked for a story, and he's too high to pay attention.
Did he just
Did you
ask,
say the
did you
mayor?
drive the river?
No, he said the mayor. Did you say the mayor?
I thought you said the word mayor.
Dude, I'm telling a fucking important, life-changing story, and you cunts
I'm
are
trying to
ruining
hear
my
it.
timing. with every fucking breath
I have questions
out of
as
your
you go.
shit-spewing mouths. Trying to tell you about a beautiful, life-changing experience. So we're on this river. Well, the first night we get there, it's pouring rain. We sleep in tents. It's fucking freezing outside. I mean, it's really cold, like 33, 34 degrees. Just cold enough so it doesn't snow, but the rain comes down. It's just ridiculously miserable. Then we get up in the morning.
Do you have warmers or anything?
No, you just
sleeping bags.
You just sleep in bags.
Were you at that night like, this was a bad idea?
No part of you?
No, man, I was committed. I was 100% committed. I was like, look, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this the right way. What this guy Ranella believes in is what's called a fair chase hunt. And what that means is, like, there's certain people that have, like, they have property, like a giant ranch, and it's like a high fence.
Yeah.
And so there's all these deer inside this ranch, and you, like, set up a stand, and then there'll be, like, a little feeder that goes off, and it goes off at the same time every morning, and it drops food, and the animals come in to get the food, and you blast them.
Oh, that doesn't seem fair.
Exactly.
Trick them.
It's murder.
I mean, not just trick them. I mean, it's like the ultimate setup.
May as well just get your food at the supermarket.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if that's how you were approaching it, I can understand that. Like, say if you lived on that farm and
yeah,
that's how
like, no,
you
we eat deer every day.
Yeah, look, if we had, that's actually smart because
If you were Swiss Family Robinson, yeah.
it's a lot smarter than
Going hunting
for it. You should control your environment better. You need that food. It's not like you can do it like as a sport, but. We went and did everything the hard way. We hiked every morning for about 3 miles over this mountain. These hills that were made out of like a clay. That used to be the Great Western Inland Sea. And during the Jurassic period, there was fucking dinosaurs there, and there's fossilized. It was a shallow, warm water ocean where Montana is. So when you're walking around there, you find like fossilized shells, like in the strata, like when things break off. They also find buffalo skulls all the time, like in the strata.
Buffaloes.
Because,
what does strata mean?
You know how the earth has like layers to it?
Uh-huh.
Well, those layers, if you cut a slice through the earth, those layers represent eras. Like you can tell by how far it goes down, by whatever measurements they make, how many thousands, millions, of years it was.
And you saw like a place like cut out and stuff?
Oh yeah, you see like fossilized shells like on the ground. I mean, the place, it's called the Badlands, all right, and it is it's really
That's cool.
intimidating. It's a very, very intimidating place because there's this river and then there's these fucking mountains that are covered with this clay shit, and you're trying to walk in it, you're sliding all over the place. It's really difficult to get a footing. Because it's essentially silt. Silt from the bottom of the ocean. It's covered this whole thing. And it freezes up, and then it gets wet. And it gets wet, it becomes muck, and then it freezes up again. So when it's hard, you can walk on it, no problem. But when it becomes wet, it's just a fucking crazy nightmare. So we were climbing these wet hills of this shit. And it's exhausting. I mean, really exhausting. And you do that for several hours in the morning, and then we would go and row the canoes downriver for several miles. And then once we would get out, then we would go and hike for several more miles
to get back
and
into
look for deer.
Okay.
You pull up your canoe, you set camp, and then you go and look for deer again.
Are there any bears or predators there?
Predators we saw mountain lion shit.
And did they attack humans a lot?
No, there's too many of us, and we have rifles. We probably would be safe, but you never can tell if you're in the wrong situation at the wrong time.
They're really hungry.
If a mountain lion's old, if it can't catch a deer anymore, if it's starving, if you catch them, you could just catch them.
But where you were camping at night, like by the river, that was okay?
Yeah, well, we were camping at sites where you're allowed to camp. You're allowed to set up, and we, after the first night, it stopped raining, so we made fires. But the nighttime, man, first of all, it's fucking freezing. Like, it got down to as cold as 12 degrees.
Did you and Callan spoon?
No, we didn't spoon. We slept in separate tents. We're all sleeping
Separate
outside.
tents.
I mean, we're outside in the fucking. I mean, you have to zip yourself up in these. You wear wool underwear. You wear like thermal, like long john type wool underwear, and then you wear on top of that like a thick pair of these wool pants, and then on top of that, I've got above me, I've got wool long long underwear top, and then 2 layers, and then a jacket, and then a down coat over the jacket, and then I'm inside the sleeping bag in the down coat with the hood up and the hood on the sleeping bag, and you're barely able to do it. It's fucking cold. But once you get in there for a while, especially once I realized to sleep with the jacket on, like I thought I should probably take my layers off, but it was too cold. You got to really,
part of the day.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
Zero
It's brutal.
masturbating, right?
Yeah, I held my loads. I held my loads for strength, and it benefited me for my endurance, because it was a difficult thing to do. You know, it seems like, you know, you're whining about, like, I work out, I do tough stuff, I do, you know, like hard kettlebell workouts, I do jiu-jitsu, very difficult things. But this hiking shit, when you're hiking around in mud all day, you know, uphill, it's fucking hard, man. You really, you know, you really get winded. It's your heart rate gets up. It's a really good workout, and you know it feels like honest, like you're really fucking getting some. You're really
Hiking, long hikes.
doing something,
Yeah.
you know. You're like, and then you get in the boat. So I was enjoying it from an athletic standpoint.
How were the
I was like,
days?
this is a good workout.
Was it warm at all during the days?
No, it was never warm. It never got more than in the 30s. It was like the warmest, it was probably like 34, 35 degrees. Like every time we were there, our water would turn to ice. It was always constantly turning to ice.
There's probably more people there when in the summertime and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure, but that's not when the hunting season starts. If you want to go deer hunting, see, this area it doesn't have a lot of biodiversity, according to Steve Ranella, but what it does have is it has a lot of certain types of animals that you could find. And there's not, like, you don't see a lot of animals, but when every now and then you'll see a deer, like there's one, and every now and then you'll see a ram. We saw a lot of rams.
Rams?
Yeah, dude.
Whoa.
They're fucking impressive. These bighorn sheep, and they're walking across the tops of and the ledges of these mountains, and you're watching them just like really, really perilous situations, and they're walking like they're so sure-footed. It's really kind of crazy to watch, and they're so badass with their curly horns. No, I don't think so. I don't think you have to.
I thought they'd ram humans if they get too close to them.
Well, you shouldn't get close to them, but I think if you're not trying to do something to them, they didn't seem to be interested in us. Apparently, that's a really hard animal to get a tag for to hunt, because they reintroduced them to Colorado and they built up the numbers, and so it's very difficult to get a tag, especially where we were, to hunt them. It's not like when you go hunting, it's not like everybody can go hunting. Like if there's certain species, it's very hard to get a tag for it, even if you live in that state.
So they only say, like, let's say only 10 people can hunt these things.
Yes,
So
exactly.
we'll
It's
only
one of
have-
those things,
okay.
and you might have 1 million people that are trying to hunt.
Right.
You know, but deer is one of the ones that you literally have to hunt. If you don't hunt deer, then they have starvation issues. They have overpopulation issues. They interfere with traffic. It becomes a real problem if there's roads or anything where people are driving along, because these animals, in order to get food, they have to travel all over the place. And a lot of them are nocturnal, and they'll run across the road. And there's certain parts of the country right now where if you're driving around the road at night, it's fucking scary. You could slam into deers left and right. I don't remember. I think it was Iowa. There's some ungodly amount of deer are killed in car accidents every year in Iowa. It's like 100,000.
Because it runs into the...
Because there's so many of them. They're fucking all over the place. And for people that don't understand how conservation works, it's really interesting. But the majority of the money, in fact, all of the money that goes to wildlife groups, like if you like the groups that put bag limits on hunting, you know, whatever the agency, whatever name for the agencies they are. I don't know what they call themselves, but whatever they are,
Game or
that
fish
and game, you know, whatever that is. But all their money comes from hunting. So the money for regulating, like, the population, reintroducing animals that were wiped out, all of that comes from hunting. And there's some people, I can understand their point of view. Some people think that we should have no hunting, and you know, that hunting is cruel and that killing animals is cruel. And I can totally understand that point of view too. I can totally understand
farming animals.
Well, look, the type of person that would say you shouldn't kill an animal because killing animals are cruel is a nice person. That's a person that wants to be nice to animals. So I can't see how I would want to argue with that. You know, I can see your point. But ultimately, if I look at it pragmatically, my thoughts have always been that, listen, these animals are going to die, whether we eat them or whether a coyote eats them or a mountain lion eats them. We found giant mountain lion shits with hair in them, with deer hair in them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really
Wow.
creepy. It's really creepy because you're just thinking, this motherfucker killed this deer with his face.
Wow.
Like, what a badass cat this is.
Did you see that video of the coyotes getting killed by the wolves?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
yeah.
They rip it
Ripped it
apart.
apart. Ripped it apart.
They don't have hands.
Well, the wild is a very fascinating thing, man. And being out there for 5 days with no cell phone, no internet, no TV, no radio, just sleeping outside,
Nice.
eating outside for 5 days was very strange. And you're stalking an animal.
Yeah.
You're stalking animals. And occasionally we would see them, but they were too far away, and we had to get upwind of them. If we were upwind and the wind was going down to them, our
smell
wind,
you.
they could smell us. So we had to make sure that we were always in a situation where the wind was blowing towards us, like from the animal to us, so that the animal couldn't smell us. Then
And
we
so-
had to creep up on them.
You would see it from like far away and then try to track it down.
We see them from far away, and then we would duck behind things, and then we would try to go all the way around, like depending on where the wind was. It's very important.
How far downwind can
First
you
of all,
be?
we smelled so bad. We were there with no showers for 5 days. Okay, so you could smell my ass from Mars. All right. So these
Your ass must have been terrible. I thought of pits. Ass.
Yeah, you're taking shits in these eco bags. It's like the whole thing was horrific.
In a bag.
Yeah, like this certain type of bag that's for human waste, so that you don't like leave your shit laying around on the Missouri River.
What's wrong with your shit?
You don't. It's gross. People don't want to step in your shit. Meanwhile, there's cow shit
What do you
everywhere.
mean? It's fucking wild.
Because it's not wild. It's fucking death. Human shit is like one of the worst things you could ever
really?
encounter. Yeah.
Oh.
Our diets are disgusting and non-natural and filled with preservatives and things that fucking ferment inside our assholes. And then it comes pouring out in the most wretched smell ever. Even dog shit doesn't smell nearly as bad as human shit. Human shit
You can smell when a
smells-
dog is shit
Yeah.
in the house. You're like, I think a dog shit.
Yeah.
When a
Yeah.
human shits, it's like,
Oh,
what
the fuck?
atrocity?
Or
human
Fogo
shit.
shit. Like I
Yeah.
had the biggest Fogo shit the other day, and I wanted to just put a $20 bill on it and not flush it, so somebody would try to grab that $20 bill just to see it. Because I don't want
Not flush it.
I don't want them to come in and
Nobody's
just
gonna
flush. I
take
just want them to take a
$20.
look.
Just
How
try.
dare you. Anyway, so we're out there for 2-3 days. On the third day was when I killed a deer, and we were. Before that, we had seen a couple of them, but we couldn't get close enough to shoot them.
Okay, hold on. How far downwind do you have to be? Like if you're 2 miles away, you're okay. But like how close
You
can you
can't.
be?
You can be close as long as the wind is going from them to you, and then
But-
it's a matter of sound.
But then if it's not, if it's going towards them, how far away do you have to circle around them to get
It
upwind
all
of them?
depends because it's not a distance thing. It's a being behind things thing, and it's being above them thing. Ideally, you want them below you, and you're above
what?
from like the top of the hills.
For the
because
smell?
you have more shots at them. If they,
Okay.
you have more opportunities. If they're going like up over the hill and you shoot at them, they take off over the top of the hill.
They're done.
You don't know where they're going. They
Yeah.
went left or right. You have no idea where they are.
But you're already
If
over the hill.
Yeah. If you look down on them, you can see where they are better.
Okay.
So you can scan more area too. It's kind of hard to figure out where they're going to go. It's a really interesting thing because you become a part of their world. I mean, you're walking around, you're living outside, you're doing this for several days, and you're becoming a part of these animals' world. You don't talk all day. All day is spent
quiet.
trying to walk as slowly and quietly as possible, stopping every 15 to 20 seconds.
sounds like awful.
To scan the
To scan what?
Okay, relax. To scan the horizon, to look around for these animals. So you're doing this all day, and you're not talking. Very rarely. It's like maybe he'll say, "Okay, we're gonna try over here."
Now, at this point, are you tracking anything, or are you
Yeah,
just hoping
sometimes
to see one?
we see a lot of tracks. You see a lot of deer footprints. We saw elk footprints, a lot of ram footprints. We saw an amazing amount of rams. It was incredible how many of these bighorn sheep we saw.
So are you following the tracks, or are you just walking until you see
you're
one?
following the trails
Okay.
that the deer's traveling, because the deer's traveling trails, and then they'll go off into the wooded areas to bed down. So they get up in the morning, and in the morning they're up and they get water and eat, and they'll stay active for a little while, and then they start going in the midday to bed down, and then they come out when it gets dark again. Like we had one come through our camp while we're sleeping,
You
and
just found out later?
we heard it. You just hear it going, woof, whoosh, it gets scared. It came through the camp, and as it's in this camp, it realized, like, oh my God, I'm surrounded by ogres. The monsters that want to eat me are right there, and it sort of freaks out and starts stomping its feet. And
I bet they could fuck up a tent if they wanted to.
oh yeah, it could. Of course it could. You know, I mean, they're not aggressive. It's not like they would do that unless they were threatened.
Yeah.
You know, they're clearly prey. You know, they're clearly
made of meat.
Yeah, they're clearly prey for all these different predators, like especially mountain lions, but humans, of course. And that's what they're worried about. Wolves used to be an issue.
They just want to walk around and eat leaves.
They want to fuck. That's what it is. It's
Fucking
getting
leaves.
close. We weren't there during the rut. During the rut, it's really crazy because the deer get super bold because they just have hard-ons and they just want to go fuck. And they'll just like walk right across the street and like look at you and you can blast them. It's like it gets to be really like a ruthless trick. You know, because they're being silly.
So that's why people put the smell of a deer on them, of a female deer.
Yeah. Well, they spray it on them. They'll spray it on things. You know, I think some places that's illegal though. There's different places like that have different laws and regulations. I learned a lot from hanging out with this Steve Ranella guy. It was a fascinating thing.
We should have those rules. Like, girls shouldn't be able to dress like sluts unless they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
think
it's not
that's the
allowed
same
to.
thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know
Because
how
the
you got there.
deer comes up and he's like, "Oh, can I fuck?" Oh, it's some other thing that I
Well,
can't
yeah,
fuck.
So if girls were trying to rip you off, like if girls were like professional gold diggers, they
Yeah.
shouldn't be allowed to dress like sluts.
Yeah,
It's too,
unless you're
it's too
willing to back it
ruthless.
up.
Okay.
So
I see your
If
point.
you are a female deer, yeah, you can make that smell. That's okay.
It seemed like that would be very stressful. Like,
Trying to find-
did you ever get to a point where you're just like, all right, I really just want to just yell and tweet and fucking, you know, like walk around?
Oh, yeah,
and
how did
not-
that feel
not
with
be
that?
out-
No.
you never got
That
like
was the interesting
Seems
thing.
like it'd be
I
peaceful.
was able to. I was able to sort of accept that this was how we're living for the next few days, and I didn't look forward to it ending.
You didn't even bring your phone with you.
No, well, it doesn't work. There's
Yeah.
there's no cell phone reception out there. Nothing. You can't get anything out there. But I knew that going in there, and it was what I was thinking was like this is going to be an interesting opportunity to sort of get off the grid for a little bit and see what that feels like.
Yeah.
And one of the weird things about getting off the grid for a few days is that you got a lot of energy, man. You got a lot of energy when you're walking
I can see
around going after these deer, and then in between you're rowing your boat. Even when you sit down for a few minutes, you're not exhausted. You don't want to take a nap. Like, you have energy. It's
Really?
like, dude, I think that's what people are
You think
supposed
it
to be
comes from
doing.
like smartphones?
People are
getting robbed
supposed
of
to
it?
be working and doing things physically all day. And when they don't do things physically all day, they get exhausted. I really believe that. I
like-
think if you look at our past as when we developed, you know, to back the time where people just first started storing foods and developing clothes and making weapons and figuring out how to hunt animals, we were in motion all day.
Yeah.
Whether we were building shelter or collecting food, we were in motion all day. And I think that's our default. And when we sit down, like at a desk, and you're sitting in front of a computer, or you're sitting there and, you know, just sitting in front of the television, I think your body gets confused as fuck. I think your body's like, well, we're just not moving, so I guess we should
Oh, like,
sleep.
yeah, why would there be a reason to
Yeah.
just not move? Unless
There's
you're
no
sitting down for
reason.
the end of the day
Yeah.
eating.
That's why I think that being in front of a computer or being in a cubicle, like doing that all day, like sitting in a desk all day, is probably terrible for your body.
dude, we do that.
Terrible for your brain.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Sit and fucking surf the web.
We should do a
Yeah.
walking podcast.
Even
where we
this
did a
right
whole
now,
podcast
it's like
about
we're not
walking.
doing anything.
Yeah, but we're having a conversation. You know, this
Yeah.
is the best way to have a conversation is in a way that you don't have to think about your body. You know, you shut it off and relax. If we were standing up, you know, we wouldn't be having as cool of a conversation
Yeah.
because we would be. Maybe we should try.
Yeah,
a
but I'm just
standing
saying
up
we're not-
podcast.
we're not-
No,
Moving.
walking podcast where we just go for a nice walk. And
That's not a bad idea.
I
But
thought that
of
with
course
Brody.
it'd be me going like this.
Trying to breathe that me like, let's rest here, guys.
Dude, this fucking sucks. I want to go play Pokemon.
Hey, Pokemon.
Is I don't know. This is the first thing that came to me. Is there a like a thing that we could get, like the Bigfoot hunter guys?
Oh, right.
And do a podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, so
of
show
But it
us.
would just be videos of us getting made
wandering
fun of.
around Pasadena. We could do a blog. We could totally do that.
Let's just
Where
go on a
would
hike
we
in
walk
Runyon
to?
Canyon.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, that's too pretentious. How
yeah.
about Griffiths Park?
Oh, yeah, just go to the zoo.
Canyon. We would find people that want to like put their resumes in front of the fucking camera. And, you know, that place is just such filled with so many fucking annoying douchebags. Yeah, we should totally do that. I took a lot of photos.
Let's go to the zoo like that.
I took a lot of photos from this trip.
old zoo.
I took a
Yeah,
lot of
can we flip
photos
it
of
the
the
wilderness?
animal, and I mean, I showed you a picture of the animal that I shot.
Yeah.
But so what happened was
Yeah, we're not done yet.
on the third day
Okay.
was when we had gone hiking through the morning, and then we went and looked for deer. We didn't see anything. We saw a couple, but we didn't get close enough to them to get a shot at them. And then we rode for a few miles down the river, and then we stopped at this one place. And we traveled about a mile in this long field. We're going up all these hills, and one of the director spots this deer. So there's one deer. That's all it is. And he's
The
like,
director?
Was he like action?
No. Director had the director also works as a cameraman, and his name is Mo.
Wait,
this
It's
is
a
all recorded.
super hard. Yeah, it's for a TV
forgot.
show, dude.
Wait, that's what you went hunting for?
Yeah. Did it
Oh.
on a television show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you just
So
went
it's-
hunting.
I can't wait to see
dude.
this.
It's all.
So
we
this
have
camera guy's all
full documentation.
A lot
They
of
had a
funny
hike with their-
moments.
Oh yeah, my God, so much funny moments. Because Callan went with me.
So they had to hike with all their cameras and shit with
Well,
them?
they hold a camera. They have a camera that's not light. Okay, these guys are in serious shape.
Yeah.
Mo is the director's this big strapping guy, and he's hoofing it, man. I mean, this is a real workout. And Ranella, the guy who's the star of the show, he does this shit all year round, so he's in serious shape for
Yeah.
this. Like he's in really there's like a type of shape that you get in for hiking. Like it's a hiking shape, and he's in like great hiking shape. And so he takes these really perilous paths too. There was like a lot of times where I was like, "Whoa, this is like tricky shit." Because I'm carrying a rifle, I'm carrying a rifle, and we're climbing up mountains, and it's it was no joke, man. We did the whole thing the right way. I mean, it wasn't. This was like 100% wild animal. Most likely, this deer had never seen a person before.
Was
Yeah, we were in the Badlands of Montana. It was like some serious shit, right? So we're getting over the top of this ridge, and we look over, and Mo sees this deer. So we have to creep up on it, and we have to creep up on it and go upwind of it,
yeah.
or downwind rather, so that its scent is coming to
Hitting you,
us and
yeah.
ours is coming in. And so then we got a shot off at it at 200
From how-
yards. I
okay.
shot it from 200 yards.
And you killed it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how did you know how to use the rifle the right way?
He showed me how. 2 days before. It was pretty simple. I shot guns before.
Were you standing up or lying down, holding on the ground?
Lying down on the ground.
You had a scope and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you have to correct to see
I
how
have
far
to
it
have a
is?
scope because it was
Nice.
200 yards away. It was really
Yeah, this is what
far.
I figured out about bullets is the gravity hits them, so they'll go down the further it is. So you have to know to aim slightly up if you're 50 yards away or 300 yards away.
No,
I think
not-
the scope is
yeah.
designed for that.
Yeah, it tells you how far. So
Yeah,
you can,
but
like,
not for high powered rifles. It takes a long time before they change trajectory. They go pretty straight for a long time. I mean, it's like a really serious rifle. So the deer drops, and I didn't even know he dropped. Like I shoot it. The whole thing. It's a really tricky thing. Like shooting something. First of all, you're breathing. I'm breathing heavy. Like we had done all this crazy hiking, and my adrenaline's
Yeah.
flying because I'm trying to relax and tune in, and I don't want to hurt this thing. You know,
wanna get
I
it
don't
right through
want
the head.
to. I want to shoot it in the leg, and then it runs away, and we can never catch it again. And you know what I
Bleeds
mean?
out, yeah.
It bleeds out. I wanted to do it correctly, so I wanted to make sure that I had a good shot, and I dropped it with the first shot. It wasn't dead. I had to kill it. I had to drop it, hit it with a second
wasn't
shot.
dead?
No, he was gonna die.
Okay,
I
so wait.
shot him through like right above like his heart, and so it would have taken it like hit his spine.
what were you aiming for, the heart or the head?
He aimed for the heart,
Okay, and so then you had to walk up to it and shoot it, or you shot it again
and
from
then
right there?
I shot it from a distance,
How far away?
pretty close. I got pretty close to make sure that I didn't miss.
10 feet?
No, it was further than that.
Like 20 with the rifle again?
Yeah, with the rifle, and then I finished it. It was very intense, man. Because then right after that, then we're gutting it.
Yeah.
And it's hot. Okay.
The
And
thing is hot.
and
It's
I made like a real conscious decision to do this. And I know I got a lot of criticism from a lot of people that said you shouldn't go hunting, you shouldn't kill something. This is like so
everybody knows the
horrible. It's
arguments
bad.
already.
But here's the issue, man. It's like a lot of these people that I'm talking to, they're wearing leather shoes. Okay, you know,
yeah.
you got leather in your car interior. You know, you eat burgers and you got no problem with it. You
People
every
are
now and
always
then you have
against sweatshops
lasagna.
until they find out the iPhone is made of one.
This is my point of view, and I don't want. It's not that I want to kill animals. I'm like a mean person. I want to go out and kill these beautiful animals, but I eat meat, and I've eaten meat my whole life, and I've taken no responsibility for how that meat is acquired. I read all the shit about farming, and I don't want to be attached to that. I don't want to be attached to factory farming. Yeah, I mean, there's a huge difference.
Right.
I don't want to be attached to these the way they treat animals, where they essentially have them live their entire lives tortured in cages, feeding shit food that their body can't even digest to fatten them up, and then we kill them and eat them, and then you just pick it up at the supermarket, completely detached from the process. It just is meat, And so I knew coming in that this was going to be a weird experience. Like, how was I going to address this? Was I going to enjoy this? Was I going to feel terrible and become a vegetarian? Like, how was my reaction to it?
Yeah, when you walked up to it, how'd you feel?
When it was dead?
No, before you shot it the second time.
I felt like I have to kill it.
You could see it close enough to know it's like actually breathing and stuff. Could you hear it?
Yeah, you could hear it. Yeah.
What was he doing? Just
He was
writhing
just
on the
struggling.
ground?
Yeah, he was struggling.
And so you went up
He wasn't
there.
moving much. I mean, he was going to die soon, but I had to make sure that I took care of it right there. And it's very strange. The whole experience is very strange. The whole experience of tracking them down is strange, knowing that you're tracking them down to eventually eat them, and then when you're actually eating it, it's like, that night we sat over the campfire and we cooked liver and the heart and the kidneys.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did you get it back? Or did you camp there?
No, we had to bring it back.
How did you carry it back?
We cut it up.
Cut it up first and everyone takes a piece?
Well, we did the first night. We took the organs out that we could use, that you'd eat. You don't eat all the organs, but you eat the liver and you eat the heart and you eat the kidneys. And so we took all that stuff out.
What did you do with the rest of the organs?
We pulled it out and we were going to use it for catfish bait, but you just leave it there. We wound up leaving it there, and other animals would eat it.
Yeah.
Like almost immediately, the ravens will find it, and when the ravens find it, then the coyotes will figure out where the ravens are, and the coyotes will go to there. It's like nature has this really efficient system of cleaning out
digesting
things. Yeah, it's really amazing.
So
we leave the organs. Take the edible organs and then leave the body overnight, because it takes a few hours to part it up and to clean it and part it up.
You can leave it there. There's no...
It's 30 degrees outside, so it's like being a refrigerator. So you tie it up to make sure that nothing can get to it, but there's no insects there. Everything's
so dead there.
Yeah,
if it was
freezing.
warm, you couldn't have done that? Or what's the deal? Can you
No,
leave
you
meat
couldn't
out?
do that. You can't leave the meat out if it's hot out. Like if it's in Texas in August, you shouldn't
How long
leave the
do you
meat
have?
out like that.
Because they always kill it. It doesn't like go straight to our fridge.
That's a good question. I don't know how long. You have some time.
Yeah.
But if it's hot out, you don't have nearly as much time.
That's why people salt things, to preserve them, right?
Yeah, but that's that's not what they do with wild game. That's what they used to do with meat back when they didn't have refrigerators. I don't really totally understand how that works either. But maybe bacteria doesn't live on the surface with the salt or something. I don't know. But so it was so cold out, we just left it there. You can leave it there. It's like leave it in the refrigerator. And then we walk. It was like a mile from the camp, so then we had to walk back from the camp.
Carrying these big pieces.
We had to take it apart.
How much did that buck weigh? Or
it was about 180 pounds.
180 pounds. So you guys had to split that up.
Yeah, we had to chop it up
30, 40
and
pounds
carry it
each.
out. Yeah, it was a lot of work. That was the most difficult thing, was carrying the buck back. Actually, no, all the hiking together, all of it was pretty hard. Was the really slippery slopes were probably the hardest thing. But the most difficult thing is staying calm and shooting the animal, and then making a decision. Like, is this really what you want to do? Like, what are you gonna do?
You've already made that decision.
Yeah,
though.
but I wanted to know. I wanted to look. The detachment that a normal person has who eats meat, I don't necessarily think that's healthy. I think that we've removed what it is from our heads, and we're just acquiring meat. We're just going to a supermarket and acquiring meat. And I think that lack of connection, I don't know, I think ultimately it's not healthy, and I think it's not natural. I think it's weird. It's like being
Not to know where the food comes from.
It's like being born rich or something. It's like you don't really appreciate it or understand it.
Coyotes do that.
What do you mean?
They just grab food that somebody else killed.
They kill things too, dude. They're out there. It's a hard scrab of life. You can't be picky and choosy when you're a coyote.
Yeah.
What I mean is that, like, the idea of going to a supermarket and everything's prepared and packaged for you.
Your bologna should come with headshots of the animal, like a photo of their
What it
face.
looks
Like,
like.
hey.
Yeah, this is me when I was a baby. This is me at
Wait,
1 year old, just learning how to walk.
So you feel
Hi.
like now when you buy the meat, you'll sort of appreciate it more?
Well, I have a lot of deer meat to eat, and that
Oh, you took
deer
it back
meat.
with you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you like it? You like
It's
the taste of it?
delicious.
Yeah.
It's some of the best meat you can eat.
So now they say you want to get it clean so it doesn't taste gamey because it releases that testosterone or whatever it is, right? Adrenaline once you
No.
hit it before you kill it.
Yeah, they're gonna have adrenaline no matter what, man. I mean, if it doesn't die instantly, but it doesn't taste bad. You know, it's like a really lean, delicious meat. It tastes really good. For a lot of people, they have a problem with killing things. I get it. You eat meat, but you don't like killing things, and I understand that. But I think being upset at
Yeah, I get
someone,
that.
being upset at someone for killing something that they eat, I think is a little bit hypocritical. Not a little bit, ridiculously hypocritical. It's also stupid. We're not being honest about what we are as an organism. We're not being honest about what we are as an organism if you're mad at people that hunt. Because every fucking restaurant you go to, everywhere you look, has murdered animals in it. That's everywhere you look.
There is something different, though, to be part of the killing as opposed to being okay with the killing going on. It's like you don't want to be an executioner, but you can believe in capital punishment.
Yeah, I guess if you weren't eating the prisoners after you killed them.
But I'm saying you don't have to be the one doing the killing.
Yeah.
There's a difference between doing the killing and just being okay with people getting murdered. Once
I don't think the capital punishment argument works because you don't need capital punishment for sustenance. You need, you don't need meat either, as people exist on being a vegetarian. But if you're consuming meat, you're eating it. And, that is a part of your diet. That's part of your everyday diet. Yet we have no connection with that. And that was the issue that I had. I was like, man, I feel like as a human going through this life, if I'm going to continue to eat meat, I should take a part in the process. I don't want to start a farm and go kill a pig on a farm.
So no part of you want to just go to a farm and say, let's just do that?
Why? I think the best way is this animal lives a totally natural, wild life, and then boom, it gets shot.
But can I just make an argument for them? Because I think it's fine to hunt. I don't care at all. But that deer would not have died. Whereas if you go to
you don't know that. You're wrong.
It wouldn't have died that day.
Most of them die. Either they get killed by predators or they die because it gets cold out. That happens.
It would have died eventually, but wouldn't have died right then. But if you go to a farm where they're just killing cows, that would have died right then. Just you're doing it. Wouldn't that be more of taking a part in the process?
I don't know what you're saying.
Go to a farm where they're killing a bunch of cows. Today's cow killing day. Go there and say, hey, let me work the lever for a little bit. Let me fucking put a nail gun in his head.
Well, you know what? That's like a semantics argument. Like, why would you even care? You're taking a life either way.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
would you take a life that's destined to be taken and it's less meaning?
If that's a normal kind of meat people eat, then that seems like if you're saying you want to know where it comes
from. Deer is as normal as eating cows.
Well, first of all, one, people don't eat deer as much. Two, if
they do where they have it.
If they do eat meat, they usually get it from supermarkets, which are farmed.
Today.
Today.
So if you want to take a part of what you're eating, throughout human history, people have been eating deer.
But if you're saying you want to take a part of what you're eating and say, I'm going to let my conscience sit on this and see this is what we're doing, then wouldn't you want to go and do actually what you're doing to get that meat and not change it to a different way?
I'm not sure I follow you.
If you get your chicken from farms that kill 3,000 chickens in a day, and that's where people get their chicken.
Right.
Wouldn't it be better if you want to see what it's actually like, where this chicken comes from? Wouldn't it be better to go to a place like that where they're killing chickens all day and have it strung up and slice his throat than killing a wild chicken? If they had them,
if you were dead set on eating factory-raised chicken, I could see your point. But if your point was that you wanted to be a part of what you ate, not that you specifically wanted to eat factory-raised chicken.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that the idea of an animal living a wild life and then its life ending in a brief moment because of a bullet, I think that is a more humane and more I don't even like the word humane because humane, what is the actual meaning of humane? Because humans, I don't think, are so fucking humane.
You don't want people to suffer, I guess, technically.
If you look at how we acquire our meat,
that deer wouldn't have died right then. Where if you go to some farm, they would have died then. So it's like you can take a part without adding to the killing.
I see what you're saying, but it doesn't make sense. I think you're just baked.
It might not make sense to me. I am big, but it totally makes sense to me.
I see what you're saying.
You're saying you want to show that you're a part of this and know where it comes from. Most people do get their food.
I also want to eat game.
Yeah,
I think game is the best food. I think I've said this for a long time that I think that there's probably more nutrition in wild game than any other kind of food, and I think that that's one of the reasons why they're so elusive. They know that they're like worth something. You know, like when the deer hears you and those fucking antenna ears pop up and they start looking, they know that they're like super nutritious. delicious.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of animals out there that are just trying to jack them. There used to be a lot more mountain lions, but apparently they have a good, healthy supply of them now. We didn't see any while we were there, but whenever you have a lot of deer, you have a lot of mountain lions.
'Cause that's where they eat.
Yeah, that's what they eat, especially fawns. They'll go after the babies because they're easy. They could take them.
I like how nature set everything up where it gives everything sort of a fighting chance.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
we're not going to kill all of you, but the ones that are too bold and go out away from the herd, you're going to get jacked.
It's very fascinating to be, even though I went there with all these human inventions like tents and guns and all that stuff, to be out there living in nature for 4 or 5 days. It's a very, very eye-opening experience, man.
Yeah.
There's some weird primal shit goes off when you're out there stalking a deer that you're eventually going to eat. And then, like, later that night, you're sitting in front of a campfire with a bunch of men, and everyone's feasting on the meat from this animal and talking about how delicious it is and enjoying it. And
Yeah.
it's very strange, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I can see where a lot of people would be uncomfortable with it. I could see where a lot of people would be angry, and they might be a little bit irrational and be pissed at me that I went and I hunted. But you're not mad at me when I have a cheeseburger. I don't get cries in anger when I put a steak on the grill and take a photo of it, which I do all the time because I like to cook steaks like 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like a boss.
What happens if you didn't find that deer that day? Well,
Then
do
we
you
have
do
no
you food
deer.
and
I gotta
stuff?
keep looking. No, we ate this freeze-dried foods. We ate these
Shellnuts.
freeze-dried meals. You open them up and you pour hot water in them. And they had these jets, these flame jets that would boil water. And you turn the flame jets on and you put this water canister over and it'll boil the water, and the water starts boiling, you shut it off and you pour the boiling water into the bag and you seal it and you let it sit for a few minutes, and it's not bad. They have like
And you boil the water over campfires.
lasagna.
They sell that shit on Amazon, like a huge carton of just tons of those packs for
Dude,
like
they're
end
not
of the road
bad.
stuff. Like if we go, if
yeah,
we need that.
You'd be amazed at you could actually survive off of it. It's not bad. It actually tastes pretty good. So the only thing that was ruthless is the sleeping outside. It's just that's really difficult to get used to.
Yeah, yeah.
And the physical activity of stalking the animal, and then the reality of the shooting of the animal, that was intense. Because I wondered how I was going to feel about that. I wondered if I was going to feel sad, if I'm going to feel bad. But
What was the feeling?
I didn't feel bad.
Yeah,
It felt very natural.
And when you were eating it, were you thinking about the animal you killed, or really were you just
Yeah.
enjoying a good
Well,
burger?
I was enjoying it. I was thinking about the process in which it happened. I was thinking about its life. I felt. It sounds very cliche to say you feel very connected with nature, but man, that is the perfect description. It's like being connected with nature. And you don't have to eat nature to be connected with it. I know, but guess what, folks? When
Dude,
you
you don't
eat,
agree with
when
those
you
people
eat
talking about
broccoli,
it.
you're eating nature. You fuck, okay? When you eat celery, you're eating nature. When you eat beets, you're eating a living part of nature. It's just can't defend itself. It doesn't scream, and it doesn't try to run away. So you assume it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the same species as us, but we would be super excited if we found it on Mars. Okay, if we found kale on Mars, and then some asshole came around and ate it.
Kale on Mars.
Yeah.
So, why'd you eat
He's
all
like,
the
why'd
Mars
you eat the
kale?"
fucking Mars kale, you cunt? This is life from another planet, and you ate it.
It's Mars fed.
I'm gonna get so regular though.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that I didn't think that the animal was beautiful. I thought the animal was very beautiful. I'm amazed just to see them. I enjoyed seeing all the rams that we couldn't shoot. We couldn't get
Yeah.
a tag to shoot them, but I enjoyed seeing them. But I think that ideally I would like to eat nothing but game meat. I think that would be the best for me, health-wise, and I think that it would be the most honest way to be a meat eater. And so that's what I'm going to try to do. We're going to go again in the summer, and we're going to go hunting for caribou.
Really?
Callan's going to go again.
Try to eat those things.
Yeah, they're huge. And
So you're gonna have stuff shipped in from now on?
yeah, my meat is in Montana. It's on its way to me. They freeze it and they send it.
I don't know. I mean,
They butcher
from more often.
I'm gonna do this more often. Yeah, I'm gonna try to go hunting a couple times a year.
Can you just buy game meat?
You could do that too, but what you'd be buying is the animals, but they'd be in a farm situation, and you'd have to make sure that they were grass fed. You would want to make
They
sure
don't have
that-
wild game that you can buy.
No, I don't think you're allowed to sell wild game.
Oh,
I think,
really?
Yeah, I think you have. It has to be domesticated. I think. I could be wrong about that. It might be different in each state as well.
Is
It
there
might
any
vary?
Is there any difference? I know freshwater fish, I think, tastes better the quicker you get it to the pan.
Yeah.
But saltwater not as much of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any freshness factor to it? Like,
Well, the organs, yes. You should cook the organs quickly as possible. The organs are delicious. Like deer liver is fantastic.
and it tastes better right then than
Yeah.
a day later.
Yeah, you don't want it. But the meat actually is, according to Steve Rinella, is better the next day. It gives it a
Okay.
chance to relax. And, it's a very sinewy,
Oh, right.
muscular animal. So you have to prepare in a certain
all
way.
muscle, right?
Hmm. Yeah, it's very little fat. They're incredibly lean. So when you cook them, you have to make sure that you don't overcook it. You cook it really quickly. And you have it on very much on the rare side. You
Really?
know?
Venison?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
called venison?
Yeah, or you could slow cook it. That's the other way too, where it breaks it down like a pork shoulder. You know, they do that. They slow cook it. So we'll wind up. I'll figure out, how to cook all of it.
Wow.
Yeah, but I have it's probably like 60 or
that
70
why
pounds of meat.
We rename, you think, all our meats? We don't do it with birds, but all our meats we rename so we
Right.
don't have to talk about the animal that it is.
Probably.
Like venison,
Yeah.
deer, and
Yeah.
beef,
Yeah, cow becomes
ham,
beef.
pork.
Steer becomes beef. Yeah, it's weird. A steer. We have to make a steer. What's that? Oh, it's a cow that we cut his nuts off.
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Steer.
He was
What?
a bull at one point in time, but we're like, yeah, you're not gonna need those, dude. You're here for steak. We don't really need you that sinewy.
Yeah.
I guess you can't eat a bull.
You
What is
can't?
it? I don't know. I mean, we don't want them to have their balls because I think they get rambunctious. Yeah.
Don't they squeeze the balls in bull riding contests? Isn't that the way they get them going?
Supposedly. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's what I've heard. They asked me to go on Celebrity Rodeo once. I was like, bitch.
Doing
are you
this
out of
rodeo?
your- Yeah, I was like, are you out of your
you met Joe Rogan?
motherfucking mind?
You ain't going in anywhere with a
Yeah.
bull.
You crazy? Bull riding, celebrity bull riding, and I was like, you're out of your mind. I think Stephen Baldwin did it, and a couple other people. I'm like, you're just asking for your body to be broken forever,
Yeah. Not even getting stomped on, just the throne from
Yeah.
a bull.
dude. Nobody rides a bull successfully. It's just a matter of how long before you get thrown off. So if you can, that's what you have to deal with.
It's the best that you ride it out.
Yeah.
So it runs out of energy, then you just ride it.
So
and
stupid.
you own it.
Riding a bull is so ridiculous.
What was the feeling like after you killed it and you're frying it up or whatever?
Strange.
No, but like the feeling of being able to talk fully for the first time. Could you talk then, or were you still?
Yeah,
trying
no, we
other
talked
stuff?
around the campfire. We always talked around the campfire.
Okay.
At night, well, it's just while we're walking around, we're trying to be pretty quiet.
Was that relieving every night to be able to like actually use your voice?
No,
that seems
it
more
just
interesting to
no.
me, like,
We
barely able to talk.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that. Yeah, it was nice to go out to camp and fuck around. The guys were really nice guys. This guy Steve Rinella, he's got a great group of dudes that he's got working for him. He really, really put together an awesome crew, and they have to be bad motherfuckers because they're out there freezing their dicks
God,
off,
holding
sleeping
cameras.
in tents, and for them, this is their job. For me, it was like some crazy vacation and an opportunity to go hunting for the first time, and and do this dude's TV show. Hey, buddy. But for these guys, the cameraman and the director,
Yeah.
that's just an everyday part of their life. That's what they do every day. I mean, that's a fucking tough job.
Oh, man.
You're camping outside most of the year,
Because they always camp.
Yes.
They always film
camp
that stuff?
Constantly. They're constantly camping. They're camping in Montana. They're camping in Arizona.
And they film that stuff.
They're camping all over the
Oh, is this a show that's already on?
Yeah, it's been on for a while.
What show is it?
It's called Meat Eater.
Oh.
Yeah, the dude had a show on the Travel Channel called The Wild Within, and it was a good show.
It's like
I
a Bear
really
Grylls type
enjoyed it.
show.
What's
But
that?
for hunting.
He sort of, yeah. I mean, like one of the things he did was he hunted a moose the same way Lewis, or a buffalo the same way Lewis and Clark did. He shot a bison with a musket, with an old school musket, killed it, and then turned it into a boat the same way they would back then. They'd make like a boat out of these things and take
They
a
turned
canoe.
it into a boat.
Yeah, he did that on the show. It's a pretty interesting fucking show. Man.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it. He's like a real Wild West historian. Like, he told us some crazy fucking stories about what different things that the Indians had done to the white man, the
Like
white
what?
man had done to the Indians, and one dude, he gave up, but his friend tried to resist. So they took his friend, they butchered him in front of him, they cut him open.
Who, the Indians cut him?
Yeah, they cut his dick off. They rubbed it all over his friend, cut his lungs off, rubbed all his friend, and then they told him, "We're going to give you a head start, and then we're going to come and kill you." And so this guy outran them, and and jumped into the river and hid in a beaver den. They have beaver dens everywhere, and the beaver dens, what it is essentially is like the water's running there, and this guy climbed under the water and into a hole that the beavers had dug into the side of the riverbank, so they could breathe in there. So he laid in there and waited until the Indians left, and then he walked 100 miles down to the nearest town, and barefoot and naked. And he ate a rattlesnake, and he ate a piece of...
How did it, just raw?
Yep, and a piece of buffalo that he found as he was...
Wait, so the Indians killed his friend in front of this dude just to be more like me?
Yep, just to, because the guy resisted.
Who is this? The guy that killed?
There was two guys, yeah. There was all these stories about what happened when the Indians ran into each other.
Well,
what's also fascinating, what he told me, was how ruthless the Indians were to each other, or the Native Americans, you should say, to each other. Like, they were fucking jacking each other left and right. In fact, there was some that were in the Great Lakes area that were practicing cannibalism of other tribes on a regular basis. They were eating them for food. That was like, it was like, imagine how harsh it must have been around the Great Lakes, like in the winter, like how brutal that shit is. And I guess some of the natives that were here
ate each other.
Were ruthless. And they actually wound up cannibalizing people.
Wow, God.
Yeah, eating people that were, travelers.
And what do the cowboys do back? Oh, really? Just like traveling by?
Eating people, like, yeah, man, you fuck up. And you ride your fucking wagon train to the wrong town. And this town is with these guys that eat people.
Is that like what we have for Compton?
No, I don't think
can't wear blue in certain areas, or you fucked up by accident.
It's way nicer now than it was in the American Indian days.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how ruthless? I mean, look, there's one thing to run into gang warfare, but bands of people that want to eat you.
And just like one saw me from 400 miles away or 400 yards away. I got to kill him, or we're all dead.
Yeah. Custer's Last Stand, he was describing, like, he's like a real historian, the Steve Rinella guy. And he's just like talking about all the things that happened during Custer's last days.
Yeah.
And one of the things they did was they mutilated all the bodies, the Indians did, after they killed Custer and his men, so that they would have a shitty afterlife. Like, they cut his dick off so he can't use it in the afterlife, cut his legs apart so he can't use his legs in the afterlife.
It didn't matter at that point anymore,
cut
Indians?
His arms out. Punctured his ears, stabbed his ears, so he could listen to warnings better in the afterlife.
And they
yeah, because they warned him that this was going to happen to him. Yeah, it's crazy. And what's really crazy, there was a guy named Gall, and Gall was this big giant Indian dude that was involved in the massacre of Custer's Last Stand. And he was involved in killing Custer and his men. And after it was over, he went on those Wild Bill's Wild West tours, where they would show up in towns and they would say, "This is Gall. He's responsible for killing, over 500 men." And the guy would like be standing there like sneering at people. And he really was. He really was the guy that killed Custer and his men.
Wow.
And there he was. You could watch him. I mean, he was free to just be walking around. And he was a part of a war. And when the war was over, he hung out with Wild Bill, and they took him around. I mean, could you imagine?
To make a living.
Could you imagine if they did that with like Idi Amin, or if somebody, some
Taylor.
warlord? Yeah, some warlord was on some show. That
all right, guys, relax. I killed a couple 100,000 people.
Yeah, what if Saddam Hussein was one day on one of these?
He would definitely on like Celebrity Apprentice and shit like that.
Yeah,
after a while,
could you imagine?
He would do those Celebrity Survivor.
That's the future. That's when our civilization really goes into the shitter.
Yeah, wait a minute. Why instead of killing, I know this is like Running Man shit, but instead of killing Charles Taylor and fucking Saddam Hussein, all these people, why not have like let him fucking Running Man it out? You know what I mean?
Why? Just so it's entertaining?
Yeah.
Well, that's when we get dangerously immoral.
Yeah.
And they're like, this guy littered. Get him in there.
What if we can hunt abortions somehow with like
give him a fighting chance?
Yeah.
If you get shrunk down so you're in there with the woman,
like
and
inner space, inner space abortions.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? It's talking to you while you're in there. Don't do it, Father.
Do it, Daddy.
Father,
just like you.
We're going to have a wonderful life, Father.
Father.
Not if you end it now.
He's already creeped out. Yeah. Hey, did you when you walked up to kill it after you like punctured it? Did you have any thought of like I should say a snappy like superhero line?
Yeah, it's like you held your gun upside down.
Yeah.
You're like,
no, it's so.
Should have thought of that before. Oh no,
serious.
Oh.
It's the moment is so it's so sober. You know, the one moment you just shot an animal for the first time and dropped it and seen it flop onto its back with its legs up in the air.
Yeah.
And it was like trying to get up, but it couldn't get up. It was done.
You didn't think to say, I guess the buck stops here.
Pull the sunglasses up. What is the dude's name? The dude from Miami CSI. What's that sound that he does? Oh God! I guess the buck stops here. You son of a bitch. No, it wasn't. It wasn't funny at all.
How did you decide who gets the shot?
It was me. I had the show. I was with
The show was
Steve.
about you. Okay.
And Brian Callen was off with another professional hunting guide, and Brian also was getting filmed with a different camera because you can't have that many people out hunting, deciding which animal to go.
Did his go
'Cause
well?
he won't- yeah. He shot an animal
So what,
too.
you guys meet up at night?
Yeah, we made up at night.
You knew the camping spot is?
We met up. Well, we had a camping spot, and then we would go hiking, and then we'd come back to the camping spot, and then we would row together. So we would talk shit while we were rowing down the river together, make jokes. Like, Brian Callen is one of the perfect human beings to go on any long trip like that because he's so fucking hilarious, and he's never off.
Yeah.
He's never off. He's on the whole time.
It's
it was
always
a series of gay jokes that never ended or evolved, but they got more and more hilarious until the end of it. It was like, this sounds like so disrespectful, but while we're like butchering the deer, in between it, Callen does this thing where he stands over the ravine and starts masturbating into the ravine. Just comes up with they call me the ravine comer. Yeah, that's what I do. I find a ravine. Oh, I can't help coming. I'm coming into the world. And he's like doing this. It was so ridiculous.
You're not going to be able to use that though, right? Probably not.
No, but we're gonna put it on the internet.
travel
We're gonna put it
channel.
on the internet because it was so ridiculous. It has to go on the internet. He had his tongue out and he was like making this fucking like really aggressive face and just pretending to shoot loads over the ravine. It was so silly and so hilarious, you know. But it was also in stark contrast to what we were doing at the time, which was butchering this animal, you know. When I gutted it, that was the really intense part because it was just a few moments after I shot it, and then all of a sudden I'm cutting it open, and as I'm cutting it open, steam is coming out. It's
Like a tauntaun.
Yes, it's not quite so bad, but very close, and it's really really warm. Their bodies are warmer than ours. Their body's like 104 degrees or something like that.
Did you get your hands in there and warm them up?
Oh yeah, man. Well, not warm them up. I had to pull the organs out.
Did they all? If you sliced, did they like fall out?
Yeah, you have to slice it a certain way. You have to slice around the body, like pull it all the way up to the neck, and then you have to cut through the rib cage with a hatchet.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's serious shit, man.
Was that your first time? Like, you never did any kind of like butcher stuff or anything
No,
like that?
it's fucking serious shit. Like, you know, when you're eating a piece of meat from an animal that you saw bouncing around, and then you put a bullet into him, and then you go and open him up and take his organs out and then section his body off and then cook it and eat it. Like, there is no confusion as to where that meat came from. And there's a complete direct attachment. Then it becomes sort of a philosophical debate. Like, is that what you want to do? Do you want to just kill natural animals and eat them? Or do you want to just remain to be a part of this sort of strange disconnect system where we are all getting meat and not even thinking for a second that used to be an animal? We have like no intellectual connection with the idea that that was an animal.
It came from.
Yeah, we just eat it, you know, and especially we eat this really unhealthy stuff with all this
Burger looks
fat in
nothing
it.
like an animal.
Not even close. Doesn't even make sense. It's weird. It's fucking weird. You know, I'm not. I'm
and you
not
were really
outside.
thinking about that while you're like eating? This is like going through your mind?
No,
Because I feel like I would just be like, this is delicious.
While I was eating it, I was thinking this is delicious, but I was also thinking, man, this is a serious thing that just happened, you know, and I got to treat this serious thing with respect. And someone said on my message board once that hunting was psychedelic, that he felt hunting was psychedelic, and I was like, well, that's ridiculous.
That's what sociopaths do.
It sounds like you don't. It sounds like you don't know what psychedelic means. You know, that's what I was thinking. Like, how could that be psychedelic? That's like the opposite of psychedelic. You're like killing an animal. You're taking a life. But then in doing it, I think I know what he meant, or what it could mean. What's psychedelic about it is that you are in a totally different world when you're there and you're in nature, okay, and there's no cell phone signal, there's no radio, there's no media, nothing is in front of you except nature, and you're walking around in it all day looking for an animal. And then when you finally lock onto that animal, you're doing this for days and days, and you finally lock onto that animal, and then you take that animal's life, and you see it, and you become a part of this experience, then eat this thing. You realize, like, whoa, all of a sudden, like, I am in the wild. Like, I am literally immersed in the wild. I have just slept in the wild, ate an animal that I shot in the wild, killed it in the wild, cooked it in the wild on some trees. We chopped some wood, and we made a campfire and cooked it over a campfire. I mean, it is as wildlife immersive as is possible. And when that happens, man, it's a real paradigm shifting moment. And much like in a psychedelic experience, after it's over, you go, wow, I am going to take as much of that I can take with me, and that's going to make me a better person. That's going to make me a more honest person. It's going to this is certainly a powerful experience. I'm going to grow from it. I think about that almost every time I trip or have tripped, and that's exactly how I felt about this. And in that way, it's sort of psychedelic.
Did you trip at all while you were there, like on mushrooms
Nothing.
or anything?
No.
Would you think? Would you have freaked out if you did? You think?
No, I wouldn't have freaked out. But there was no time to fuck around. I mean, it was a difficult endeavor. The way he does it, you don't have time to like go do mushrooms and lie around the grass for 6 hours. Like
Staring at the sun in the sky.
You're up wandering through the hills of the rifle, and if I had gone all the way there with them and then decided to just do mushrooms, that would be like so disrespectful to his show and so disrespectful to what he's trying to do, because what he's trying to do is, with his show, he's trying to do these really difficult and challenging hunts, and he took me along to do it exactly the way he does it. So I had to do it the way he does it.
Picture this. You go out, you hunt, you got that on day 3 out of 5.
Why do I have a feeling it's going to be a gay question?
You and Callan are sharing a tent.
You're on Brokeback Mountain. It's beautiful. Okay, you get this thing on day 3. You're back to your last campsite. You still have a day and a half left.
Right.
You're like, okay, we did it. That's amazing. You're coming to terms with it and stuff. And you're undoing your sleeping bag and stuff. You're like, yeah, I should wear my coat. It's actually cold. And you reach in your pocket. You're like, oh, fuck. Hey, guys, I forgot these were in here. I just found these mushrooms. Would you do them then?
That's interesting.
Everybody could do them.
The problem is I would want to not be incapacitated in case something went wrong. You never know what could go wrong. When you're camping, the idea that you're just going to sit there and you'll do the mushrooms for 5 hours and you'll be fine. That sounds good in theory. However, you need 8 hours sleep, and you really got to make sure you get that, because you got a hard day ahead of you. And second of all, there's no 5-hour breaks there between the light being off, eating your food, and then sleeping for 8 hours, then getting up while it's still dark out. There's no time to do it. Yeah. So I wouldn't have done it, because there was still work to be done. I still had to go back up there and get the deer itself and cut it apart, and that stuff takes hours. It wasn't easy.
You went back.
Yeah, so there was no time to do mushrooms. And then the next morning, Brian got his, so he helped me go and get my deer and cut it up, and that's when he was jerking off into the ravine, calling himself the ravine comer. But it was the whole experience was very surreal. From pulling the trigger to watching the animal fall into its back, it's very surreal. To ending its life. To cutting it open and to eating it. It's pretty fucking intense, man. And I think that's the most honest way to get food. I really do. I think that's the most honest way to get meat. I can't say that, I'm not in a position where I could eat all my meat like that. Yeah. But I think that's the right way to do it. I think if I didn't have this kind of traveling stand-up comedy schedule, if I was able to live in one place for long periods of time, I would do that. I would get all my meat from game. I think if you want to choose to eat meat, that's the most honest way to do it. Not saying there's anything wrong with having a steak.
But I wonder if farmers come to like the big city and be like, dude, you can just find meat at the supermarket. It's just so much better. Why are we fooling ourselves? We're doing this and this. It's the most honest way to get your meat.
I think there's something about farming, much like something about hunting. Yeah. I think there's something primal about it.
I do like picking something off a tree or bush and eating it right there.
You know what? I like growing it. I've been growing things lately, man.
It's fun to do.
There's something cool to that. We went to Underwood Farms. They have this big farm where you can pick out your own food. You go and pick out your own pumpkins for Halloween. You can pick out like all kinds of different things that they grow there, and then you bring it back and you pay for it. And I looked at it, I'm like, how difficult would this be to do? Because it seems like a really smart thing to do, to have like a bunch of food growing in your yard.
It's so fresh.
To have a place. Like, what if we had like Death Squad Farms? Where we all grew our food, like hired someone to run a farm, buy a piece of land, set up an irrigation system, and that way we know where all our kale comes from, all our strawberries come from. That seems like that would be attainable. This is obviously step one on the way to the cult compound / farm.
Yeah.
But we'll start with a farm because nobody can argue with the farm. If you start with the cult, then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey man, you guys just can't go all culty on us." But if you start off with a farm and like, listen, man, I'm just into making tomatoes.
How long?
Big a deal.
And then how many years before somebody's like, "So take up arms"? We should do that?
Pretty quickly. I think right
Within
away.
a year?
As soon as we start killing deer, then people go, "We need guns to kill deer." That would be the shit. If you could grow your own food and live off of wild game and vegetables that you grow, that is a very close to nature way to live. The argument against killing animals, obviously, is they're beautiful, and why would you do that, and this and that. But the bottom line is you need to maintain populations, because if humans don't maintain the population, then we have to give up our spot as the #1 predator and bring somebody else in to do it.
We've decided we would rather kill a deer than have to worry about hitting one with our cars.
And worry about all the different predators that will grow in size and number if you are not killing those deer.
Oh, yeah, because then they have more food. So it goes on from there.
Yeah, look, a lot of folks don't realize that wolves were a real problem in this world at one point in time. It seems so strange to say, but like Big Bad Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood and all that shit, what all those stories come from is at one point in time, wolves used to kill people. It was normal. In France, I got to pull this up because I saw this, and I just want to make sure that I quote this correctly because it's crazy.
What, that this wolf got really big?
Yeah, wolves killed like 40 people in the 1400s in France, in Paris. 40 fucking people. Yeah, the wolves of Paris.
That'd be such a horrible way to die.
Dude, are you kidding?
This wolf ripping you apart.
The wolves of Paris.
Like Walking Dead.
In 1450, the animals entered into the city during the winter through breaches in the walls.
They put walls up to keep them out. Wait, what year?
1450. A wolf named Cortade or Bobtail was the leader of the pack, and reports of the animal being reddish in color may be indicative of a Liberian wolf, perhaps having migrated from the Pyrenees. Eventually, the wolves were killed when the Parisians, furious at the deaths, lured Cortade and his pack into the heart of the city, and the other Parisians stoned and speared to death the wolves in front of the Notre Dame Cathedral. Wow.
Nice.
They speared them to death in front of the cathedral. Like, they cornered the wolves. Like, people were literally fighting for their lives against wolves. Do you know how horrifying that must have been? But that's where the werewolf, the myth of werewolves come from.
Some real wolves.
Comes from real world wolves, and wolves being smart as shit. They're so smart. They seem like they're people.
They hunt in packs, and they have the alphas and the betas. And
they have a system,
powerful
a whole
wind,
solar system. What's that?
Naming this murder?
They could blow houses down.
Oh, in the old days. Yeah, in the old days. Before they started smoking.
Down.
They got into cool menthols, and they just fucking ruined their huff and puff.
They could put on old ladies' clothing, too, and try to fool little girls.
Yeah, they could talk English back in the day. Yeah. So
that's what always scares me about camping is like, what if one of those things comes up at my tent?
Well, it's a problem when you're not armed, and it's a problem there's not that many of you. When we were with the Meat Eater crew, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was like altogether I believe there was 9 of us.
Yeah.
So there was quite a few.
But if
people.
3 of those big wolves just in the middle of the night just started.
Oh yeah. Could be a problem.
Like, how long till the first person wakes up, gets his gun out?
Yeah, well, that's the movie, The Grey. Did you see The Grey?
Yeah, but that's what I didn't understand about The Grey. Why they always count them one by one? It's like, just kill everyone. There's
the wolves?
12 of you wolves. These guys can't do shit.
That's probably the only realistic thing about the movie. The wolves
did it one at a time.
Be sneaky. Yeah, wolves are smart, man. They take their time.
But when they all walking towards the trees, and the one guy fell back a little bit, and they want nuts on him.
Yeah.
And they all came like, hey, they just could have turned on the rest of them.
Yeah, but they might not have. They might have just. Wolves are very clever, man. That might be a realistic part of the movie, that they saw the people running back with guns, that they would run away.
Dude, we heard those wolves kill a skunk when I was camping.
Yeah.
It's just so the yell they let out. It's just so amazing. They all just start howling like we've done it.
Where I was, you didn't have to worry about wolves. We didn't
good.
even hear them. But they do have them in Idaho. It's not that far away. You know, they reintroduced them to the United States.
In Idaho?
Yeah, well,
Why?
because they're worried about the ecosystem. They wanted to bring it back. They wanted to reintroduce the predators. It's really interesting because it's having a devastating effect on the game, but it's also to keep the game populations in order. But now that they're forced to have wolf hunts because the wolves don't have any predators, and the wolves used to have the predator, and the predator was us. So now people are hunting wolves. Yeah. And now, of course, there's a lot of people that are upset that people are hunting wolves. And I used to agree with that. I used to say, wow, you know, you can't hunt fucking wolves. That's fucked up.
Why?
Because I think there's something majestic about a wolf. And there's something where you're not going to eat them. And people were like, why would you be able to hunt wolves? But now,
because you can't eat them.
Yeah, but now as I get older, I understand, like, you have to hunt them to keep the populations in control. Because if you don't, then they start going after livestock, and they will go after people. A woman got killed by a wolf this year in Alaska.
Yeah, if there's more wolves, so then there becomes less food for all of them to go around. Then as those wolves die out, they get crazy at the end.
And that's when it becomes a real look. If you have an overpopulation problem of wolves and they don't have enough food, that becomes a real fucking problem.
That's when there's plenty of problems. That's when the population will grow. That's all fine.
Yeah. So when everyone's looking at these wolves right now and saying like, "Oh, I think it sucks that the people are going to hunt wolves," like they have to hunt them now. If you don't hunt them now, we're going to get to a situation where it's going to be a problem. And the last problem you want is a fucking wolf problem. Imagine wolves start just jacking people again on a regular basis, and we'll think how fucking stupid we were to let ourselves get to a situation where we built the murderer population back up. The people murderers.
Imagine it was walking down the street on Pasadena, just a wolf. I'd be like, don't go outside for like all night.
Packs of them, snarling, eating babies.
Yeah, we just have bears here in Pasadena. That's that bear that keeps on coming down from the woods and just going to people's swimming pools.
Yeah, with its babies.
Yeah.
It's come down with its babies before. They've even had, in Altadena, they had mountain lions like chilling in this lady's driveway.
They had one in Santa Monica.
Yeah, they had to shoot it.
They had to kill it.
Yeah, that was a big one too, man. Yeah, it was a big ass fucking 200-pounder.
It's like, we made an agreement. You stay over there, and we stay over here.
Dude, do you imagine how big? I'm saying 200 pounds. I think that's how big it was. That's what I remember.
How big is their big dog? Like 90 pounds?
With Johnny? Johnny's 140.
So it's way bigger than that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh my God, is that true? Is it really 200 pounds? Jesus. I know they get that big.
Was there any moment of like right before you pulled the trigger, were you just zoned in? Or were you like, let me think about what I'm about to do right now?
No, I didn't think that. I just wanted to make sure that I got the right shot. It's hard. 200 yards is a really far distance to shoot. You know, that's why it didn't. I tried to get the bullet to go through his heart. It didn't go through his heart. It landed right above the heart. And a couple inches above the heart is where the spine is. That's where it hit him and dropped him.
Why did they tell you not to go with the head?
Because it's harder to hit. Mountain lion killed in Santa Monica is probably seeking a home. Oh, poor baby. You think it's probably just seeking a home. It's just, how big is it? Come on, you fucks.
While you're waiting for Joe to look at that information, go buy Revenge for the Holocaust, my new CD on iTunes and Amazon and CD Baby.
Powerful Ari Shaffir.
By the way, that was really weird that you called me Pokemon earlier and you had no idea that I had Pokemon in my car, Joe.
Maybe I did know. Maybe I knew, you silly bitch.
How would you know? I never talked about it.
Brian, I'm tuned into the universe. I'm a hunter now.
Why do you have a Pokemon
I'm connected
costume?
to the spirit of the wild.
Brain scanning me, man.
Why do you?
Yeah.
It's really fucking weird though, because I don't think I've told you or.
Dude, I'm a fucking brain scanner.
We've never
because
talked
it's Pokemon.
Yeah, but we've never talked Pokemon ever. I've never talked Pokemon ever.
But if any one of us would have a Pokemon outfit, you would be the winner of that gamble.
That's weird.
The Christians would see this as a sign from God.
I put it in my car on the way here. I just got it this morning.
Brian, I don't know if you know this, but I know that you're a silly bitch.
You're stalking me. You're hunting me, aren't you?
I know you're a
hunting
silly
bear.
Bitch. Come on. You're a silly
Wait, why do you have a Pokemon costume?
I understand silly bitches.
Oh, it's Halloween's coming up.
Yeah.
Fucking Halloween.
I hate it so much.
Word.
It's so much pressure.
I got a gorilla outfit, but it was way too hot. I don't see how anyone could wear a gorilla
Why is it
outfit.
pressure, Ari? You're so negative and angry.
You got to put something on, and it's like if you don't, then it becomes like, oh, you didn't do it. All right.
Get one of these.
And
it's
if you
awesome.
do, you got to explain it. I just want to, come on.
Ari, it's like
Just
this
wanna
is
go
like
drink
pajamas.
places.
It feels just. It's so soft. You just put it on, and it just feels like you're.
You should wear that everywhere you go, just so
I
people
know
know what your
that.
real personality's like.
It'll be like Mini Dean everywhere.
Why fuck around, man? Just wear that everywhere.
I know.
That
can
would
see the
actually be
adult
cool
thing.
if we never addressed it. If you wore that at every podcast.
If that was my.
That's
all
where
right.
you went.
Yeah, why not, man?
Okay.
Okay.
It smells so
It's
bad.
cool. I like it, and it covers up your headphones. You
Yeah.
know? It makes you look mysterious back there.
You look like that DJ.
Who? Dead Mouse?
Dead Mouse?
You're Pokey Mouse.
Have you seen Dead Mouse's
love
and
Mouse.
Kat Von D's Twitter lately? By the way,
No.
every single tweet is "I love you." I love you. I love you. No, I
They're
love-
in love, man.
It's so
Are
silly.
they dating?
He makes
Yeah.
good music.
They
and
live together now.
She's hot as fuck.
God, it's the worst when people fall in love and they feel like they got to make it public as possible.
Oh, someone's a
Everybody
hater.
does it. It's so like, dude,
It's
nobody
the worst.
cares.
It's worse than eating babies and shitting in people's mouths while they're sleeping. It's the worst. The worst, Ari. The
never shit in
worst
somebody's
in the
mouth.
world. The worst
God, I
thing
hate
ever,
it.
ever. I hate
It's
it.
just
I hate
so
it. I hate it.
annoying. It's just like we get it. We're all bored with you
Can't
now.
you just like let them be in their glory?
For what? For like a month, I have to keep hearing about it and seeing a post about it.
Look, he's so
It's
negative.
not funny.
He's so
What,
negative.
what if they were tweeting on an airplane and they put their seats back and you were sitting behind them and they were tweeting?
And they were tweeting pictures. Oh, that'd be the worst too.
That's the worst?
Because he
First
hates
of all,
when people
everyone
talk.
leans their seat
Is the
back.
Holocaust the worst?
No,
He
none of that
he
is the
gets
worst.
pissed. I had to sit in front
Anyone
of
who
him the
leans
other
their
day.
seat back all the way is just saying, "Oh, I don't respect the person's boundaries in any way behind me or their feelings, that I may be crushing their legs."
No, they're saying I would like my seat to go back.
Yeah, and I don't
you
care
can let
about what
your
anyone
seat
else
go
is
back,
doing.
Too.
That doesn't get your legs out of the way. It still crushes them.
Everybody's seat has a little button. And
So
that's,
what?
That's what you're
So
allowed
what?
to do.
So then you're allowed to go
Sit
back as
back.
far as they let you?
Exactly.
And what if they let you go a little further back? Would you go a little further back?
Dude,
as
look at
long
this
as
shit.
that was what was agreed to.
And what if they let you go all the way back to where you're lying on somebody's lap? Would you do that?
I think-
Or would you use your own mind to
Ari
say there's somebody
Shaffir-
sitting back there?
Ari Shaffir, you need some yoga and some Vicodin.
I would never do that to someone. I would never smash their fucking legs with my
You're
chair.
acting like it's a violent act.
It
It's
is
not at all.
violent.
So
It's someone
you don't
relaxing.
feel like
Someone
you wanna-
taking what?
You don't feel like you
being
want to put your
ridiculous.
seat back at a point?
I'm sure I do.
I am so uncomfortable, especially as being a tall
Yes, I do.
gentleman.
But I don't put it back because
being
someone
a
is sitting back there.
being a
No,
silly
but that's
bitch.
they're designed for that. So they
Who
put their
cares
seat
how
back.
far that is out? It's annoying. You can't type on your computer.
You
Somebody
need-
leans back.
You need to get rich enough to get a private jet. That's the
You
only
can't
answer.
ever look at your laptop
wait,
when
he's
somebody's
talking
leaning back
about
in front of you.
Coach, Joe. He's talking about Coach. I forgot. Just kidding.
It just shows a lack of caring about other humans.
No, it doesn't, Ari.
Yes, it does.
It shows you want to lean your seat back. And
Yes,
everybody
I know
does
that's the
it.
desire.
Everybody
That's
does
the
it.
reason you're doing it.
But everybody
everyone does it.
does
It's
it.
not a reason to do anything.
It is because it's a
Because
comfort
everyone
thing.
does it.
It's an agreement. Yours leans
If you
back,
know you're
mine
less
leans
comfortable when somebody's smashing into your legs, to then do it to someone else, it's a horrible act.
Listen.
It's a horrible selfish act.
back. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You knowing how bad it is.
You have to deal.
If you were a 1-year-old whose legs didn't go off the chair, I could see it because he wouldn't know what it felt like to someone to go back on him. When you're
are
not
a
able to
very
use your
tall
computer
guy,
at all,
You are a very tall guy, and your legs get in the way when someone tries to lean their seat back. If you cross in your legs, you can't fit. However, me and Brian are stubby, and we fit in fine.
Perfect.
So it's a completely different situation. You also are like, that's like a version of it being like a big giant fat guy that doesn't fit in his seat.
I actually kind of
Yeah,
like it when I'm
you
laying
can't help
back
that.
and the ones in front of me is laying back. It's like a little Sky Mall blanket. And
Yeah.
I feel more protected, like no one's gonna rack me in the balls.
Oh, Sky Mall blanket.
you guys are selfish.
Selfish?
Both selfish.
That's interesting. I don't
Yeah.
see it that way.
Really? Causing someone pain and saying, I choose not to think about it is not
Doesn't
selfish?
cause me pain, man.
No, it
When someone
causes
in front of
someone
me
else pain.
leans back.
You haven't sat in coach in
Someone in
12
front
years.
of me sat in coach this weekend.
Yeah, but hates it. It's the worst.
I sat in coach this
if you
weekend.
have your thing out and you're on your computer, you can't be on your computer anymore.
No.
It's too far back.
Yeah, you can't. That's it.
So that's annoying, but yet you'll still inflict that on someone else for the joy of leaning a little.
If you want to, you can do that.
Yeah, you're allowed.
Yeah.
The law
Look,
allows it.
you're not there to.
This is
be
why
on your
government doesn't
computer.
work, because everyone's corruptible.
You're not
Everyone
there
is
to be on
selfish
your
and looks at.
computer.
You're not there to do anything. You're not there to
sit in
lean
your-
back.
You're there to sit in your seat and.
You're there to
travel.
get somewhere.
You know who's
Someone
we
in
fault-
can
front of
make
you
it.
wants to
You
sit
can make
back.
it less painful for
You know
people
whose
by
fault
looking
it
out
is?
for
It's
each other.
the airline's fault, not
Yeah.
me for leaning
Yeah.
my seat back.
Yeah, I agree.
No,
So-
because
so you
humans can't be
get pissed
trusted
off
to
at
think
me.
about others. You're like, they let me. Honestly, if they let you go as far back as you wanted, all the way back, a bunch of you motherfuckers would keep doing it.
They would.
They would.
They
They
put their
would.
head right in your dick.
Yeah.
They would. They was like, I don't know, it goes there, so I'm just gonna do it.
And then
they
more
become a
people
stomach.
would get head because girls just would not be able to help themselves. It'd
Yeah.
be dicks right next to their face.
It's an
and they would
asshole
just
move.
put
We
it
don't
in
know
their
what's
mouth.
happening.
I agree.
Oh, Ari, you're really exaggerating here.
I'm not.
Wait till you read.
I don't like it. It's selfish.
Rate-
Everyone knows what it does to people, but you do it anyway. It's just a small, selfish act.
I don't think it's that selfish.
No, you don't.
I think it's normal.
Selfish people never think they're doing anything wrong to people.
Oh, selfish people. No, it's just you're a very tall guy, man. It's very different for you than it is for me or Brian.
Okay, so
Me
do
and
you look
Brian
and see if there's a tall
don't
guy
mind.
behind you? Do you look and say, "Oh, there's a tall guy behind me. I'm
you're
not going
like
to
a
do
fat
this"?
person on
No.
a plane. You need to
Yeah.
understand that you're tall. You need to spend the extra $40, do the business upgrade class or whatever exit row thing,
I don't.
and that's
if
what you
I
have
see
to
a
do.
short person behind me, I still don't lean my chair back because it fucking disrupts
Oh,
them.
you're a sweetie.
I'm
You're
just
so
not
you're so
selfish in that
selfless.
act.
That's you, Ari.
I just like the fact that when somebody does lean
It's
his seat
selfish.
back, instead of going, "Ma'am, I'm very tall," blah 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 blah, he just goes and starts kicking it and like hitting it.
Well, I think that was before you did mushrooms.
That
Now
was
he just,
6 years ago.
Now he
But,
just, yeah. I
Oh,
think
you
but I
don't do
still
that
do
anymore?
get very annoyed.
he gets annoyed, but he doesn't respond violently anymore.
You don't do that?
Sometimes I do this. I say, just so you know, you're going to be making this very uncomfortable for me, and I'm going to be pain. I'm going to have pain in my knee.
You say that?
Because you lean back. But I know you're allowed, but just know that's what's going to happen to me.
Why don't you just ask them? Say, would you mind? I had knee operations and I'm all fucked up and gangly. Would you mind just moving your seat
6'3",
up a
I'm
little
not
bit?
that tall. It's not crazy.
I'm 5'8". Yeah, you are. That's so tall. You're taller than average. Most people are like me and Joe's size. I
Yeah,
think.
but you know where that difference is? You're just talking about knee to waist.
Yeah.
That's the only difference in terms of where it affects your seat.
What about cock?
So those 5 inches,
Cock,
5'8",
does cock
Jesus.
get in the way, buddy?
7 inches. Oh, my cock does not get in the way.
No, it's gonna get
It
crossed
adds
up.
that much more.
frothy
crossed up.
loads, frothy zinc loads.
Your cock doesn't get crossed up. You can do that weird thing where you can actually fold one leg over the top. My little troll legs don't work that way.
Yeah.
I can't
thick.
fold my leg over the top of my leg. My legs are
Really?
too fat.
Try to do it.
I can
can't
only
even-
wear certain types of pants. Most pants I can't wear. I can't
Really?
like Levi's 501s. I can't even get those on. If they fit my waist, they never fit my legs. They get onto my legs and they just lock up halfway.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you have thick thighs?
Yeah. Cause I feel like a troll. I'm 5'8", 190 pounds, and most of it's in my legs and my ass.
5'8", 190. You guys are both
Yeah.
5'8"?
Yeah.
How much do you weigh?
210.
Jesus.
Men are so different than women. If a girl ever did that to her friend, what do you weigh? 210. Jesus, you'd be such an
Maybe the end of the
asshole.
friendship.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
Women are allowed to do that. It's something they're allowed to do.
They'll do what?
Allowed to keep that. Like you're not
have
supposed
to.
to talk about how
Yeah.
much a girl weighs, or you can't like ask her and then like get in her face like you fat fuck.
What?
You can't say that.
Putting it on the pounds lately, huh?
Yeah, you can't say that. You're
No.
an asshole if you do. But with guys, like, who are you, you fat fuck?
You know why? It's lack
Guys
of
do it
respect.
all the time.
Lack of respect for women. That's why we don't do it, because we're like, they can't
No,
handle
they're
it. They're little
sensitive.
babies that we can't fucking trust with real feelings.
Well, we have testosterone, man. Testosterone
Hey,
is a
hey,
ruthless
hey.
fucking hormone.
Speak for
Some
yourself.
of us
Speak for
do.
yourself. I'm getting there.
I'm taking zinc for frothy loads. By the way, Onnit is going to have a testosterone boosting formula. We
Yeah.
found out there's a bunch of things besides zinc and magnesium. There's something called Tungat Ali, and there's a bunch of different herbs that have been shown in actual real clinical tests to up testosterone when you take them for more than 10 or 11 days.
Yeah, Aubrey was saying that he tried the ZMA Max or whatever that zinc
Mm-hmm.
thing was, and it just made him shit a lot, like diarrhea.
Whoa.
And I didn't have that
He
problem.
I've never had that problem. He must have
Yeah.
got a bad batch,
Yeah.
or it was confusing it because he was also doing tequila and
Right.
meth.
It's tough to isolate.
I met a dude this weekend who had a stroke from meth.
Whoa.
Yeah, we went to a bar and this guy came in with his friend. His friend was 25 years old and he had a stroke from doing meth at 23.
23?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's learning to like reuse his body again. It's fucking crazy.
Gosh.
Meth is a motherfucker.
Wow.
And that's one thing that you have to deal with in like places like Montana. You know,
Meth.
there's a lot of meth problems in
Yeah,
those places.
I make jokes about pills sometimes, and I when I get away from LA or New York, I think, oh, you're not going to get it because you guys don't do. And then it hit me like Indianapolis, Kansas City. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, this is where pills are. This is where meth is.
Oh yeah, pills are everywhere, man. We live in a really strange world because in the middle of this whole debate on marijuana that keeps going on in the public eye, when you see it on CNN and this
Pills are everywhere.
Yeah, while this is happening, while this marijuana distraction, there are so many pill junkies in this country.
Yeah,
Just
it's so much.
monster numbers, and no one's doing shit about it. there's a lot of meth heads in this country too, and no
A
one's
lot.
doing shit about it. And then you see cops that just dressing up like high school students and pretended to be high school students, trying to get them to sell them weed. And like, really? Why are you not busting the meth labs? You fuck.
Yeah.
You know, you're not done. You didn't do your work. You're gonna go after high school kids selling weed.
High schoolers selling marijuana it should be the last thing you have to get.
Exactly. It should be.
Even if it's
we've
illegal.
Cured all the murder. We've cured, we've resolved like who committed all the murders. We've put everybody in jail. We've cleaned up the streets. We're down to zero crime. Okay. How about high school kids who sell weed? All right. We'll go after that.
Get
And then
all
we'll
the
have
other drugs first. Yeah.
We'll have Utopia.
Yeah.
Look at Ari.
I look like I'm the guy in the front.
You're so uncomfortable.
Putting up a picture that's kind of drawn in the same way as the instructions that are in planes telling you where the exits are, but it's a guy very uncomfortable with the seat. In
Getting
front of
his knees smashed. You should just jerk off into people's hair. It seems perfect.
Just put it
It's
in
right
there a little
there.
bit.
That would be very, very rude.
That would be a violation. Of
It is
personal
fucking
space.
rude, though, how they shove so many goddamn seats onto a
I
plane.
know. It's like we're
ridiculous.
cattle now.
Yeah, I mean, it's such not a seat. What's really funny is they tempt you at the airport. At the airport, you get to sit in those seats waiting to get on the plane, and those are
Those aren't
great.
bad. Yeah.
Those are great. And you're like, hey. Okay, obviously you know what size seats should be, okay? Because you got them everywhere, you fuck.
Yeah.
You're teasing me.
You're aware. It's not like you
got
have no idea of what the size should
Yeah,
be. Yeah.
you got them all over
Yeah.
this fucking gate. They're everywhere. And then I get on, you're like, oh, we forgot what size it is. We're going to make them half that size, right? That's okay. No, it's not okay, asshole.
Yeah.
Callan and I were sitting next to each other, and I'm not a big guy, man. But I'm touching the airplane on my left side and touching him
Yeah.
on my right side.
Can't we do 3 rows of 2 instead of 2 rows of 3?
That's exactly what it should be. Yeah.
Just make it tighter to get it around, but
It should be rows of 2, and it should be more space in between the rows.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess you have to pay a little bit more for that, and people don't want to do that. But man, I just feel like the way they're doing it now is just it's so cattle-like.
It should be
Sucky.
beds, like bunk bed style. It should be people on top of people, so that, like you're kind of laying down in like a bunk.
you
bed.
shouldn't. That wouldn't be bad.
Old people couldn't.
No,
do
like
it.
on trains.
No,
like
old people
trains.
be on the bottom.
Some old
you
people
know?
can barely stand up, man.
Then
They can't-
let the old people have the seats.
Yeah.
They can't crawl out and
Just have a bunch of
lay
beds in the
down.
back.
Yeah.
Seats in
People
the
would start
front.
fucking too. That's another problem.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's not a problem. That's living your life. You
Boom,
should be allowed to
boom,
fuck in your sky cabin.
Yeah, you say that, Ari, because you're what's called a pervert. You're what's called a young delinquent running around out there with no responsibility, trying to fuck on airplanes. Okay, but that's not good for
I've never
society.
fucked on an airplane. Have you
Look,
fucked on an airplane?
in these
Have you?
trying times, I've jerked off on airplanes.
I jerked off. Yeah.
Has anyone not jerked off on an airplane?
If you are, how dare you?
Have you only
need
been on
to take
one
some more
airplane?
chances in your life. Yeah. I just think that you can't give people too many opportunities to fuck. They would just never get any work done.
Yeah.
We'd never have iPads if
It would be
people could
annoying
just
if you could
fuck
hear
whenever
people
they
right
wanted
behind
to.
you fucking.
Yeah, it would suck, man. What if
on.
they talked really loud?
Go to the quiet place.
Oh, yeah, baby, put it in my shitter. Like, hey, I'm trying to read.
Yeah, you
I've
whore.
got a really
You
good
fucking whore,
book
bitch.
here
You like
on
this?
my iPad.
Like,
You guys are gonna make me jerk off. Okay, I'm gonna jerk off.
Mind your own business, man. They poke their
Don't
heads
jerk
out.
off on me, bro.
Take a
Listen,
picture.
man. My loads don't shoot that far. I'm aiming towards you. It won't reach you.
Take a
Trust
video.
me.
You got no Wi-Fi.
Can you imagine you just jerking off straight at the
Ew.
guy? But he's like 3 feet away. You're like, don't worry, dude. I'll never hit. And then just by some crazy streak,
A record.
you wanted to hit the longest jizz shot ever. It's almost like, like you manifested it with The Secret.
My friend Josh
And it
made this
hits
bet
him.
with us that if he laid on a table, he could jerk off and hit the ceiling, lower ceiling than this. He's like, I'll bet you all right now. And we're like, literally, none of us want to watch you do
Yeah.
that.
What the fuck?
Wow, that's a
I
guy
believe you.
who's
We
just
don't
hoping.
believe you.
Oh, guys, this isn't going to work. Come on, suck my cock. Who wants in?
Yeah.
That is it. He just wanted a bunch of guys to watch him jerk off. I didn't think of that. It was high school.
Of course, that guy's queer as fuck.
Yeah.
Of course.
He would have just like come to it, just dripped out
Why
like off
did
the
I-
side.
why
Cut
did I
to-
think what that was?
Cut to that guy right now is they're roasting him like a pig over a hole. One guy's got one in his ass, one guy's got one in his dick, and they got him hogtied. They're just spinning him,
Like,
spinning him butt and mouth.
and he's like, this is so much better than high school. Wouldn't even watch me jerk off there.
Yeah, that guy's gay as fuck. Bro.
I didn't even think about that.
He's on a
I'm an adult.
rotisserie right now, spinning around cocks.
Yeah.
Well, people jizz on his sides and glaze him up. Can you imagine?
You ever think back to scenarios that were gay before you knew what gay was, or were aware that it was actually could be around?
I was around. I knew what gay was really young.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I moved to San Francisco, my family did when I was 7.
My.
And our next door neighbors were gay, and my aunt used to go next door and smoke weed with them and get naked with them.
What?
Yeah, because they were gay.
That's
They
so
didn't
cool.
want to have nothing to do with her. So she would take off. They would all take off all their clothes. They would get high together, and they would all play bongos. And I was like 7. You know, and I remember it, like they were like really friendly. They weren't creepy at all. They were very nice. They were very nice
Really?
neighbors. Yeah, they were very nice people.
That's cool.
And so my earliest encounters with gay people was very positive. It was like our neighbors were gay, really nice guys.
Once
the whole
you see
neighborhood was
people,
gay.
You're like, oh yeah, nobody's a big deal.
Yeah, San Francisco was really fucking gay in the 70s. It's interesting how there's
Now it's
like
Asian.
places that it was Asian back then too. There was always a lot of Asians. It's interesting how places back then, like there's like places that are just decidedly gay. Like,
Yeah.
this is the gay area, like Santa Monica. Like here's the gay area. This is Santa Monica
Monica
Boulevard.
Boulevard.
This is
West
West
Hollywood,
Hollywood. This is the gay area.
My friend called it Mecca.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. For gay dudes, it must be
Mecca.
awesome.
Yeah.
Gay dudes, man, I'm telling you, besides the persecution and the fact that people don't want them to get married, they have the fucking life.
Dude.
You know? If they really enjoy being gay,
I'll take a walk with you one day down near my
no,
place.
no, you won't. I'll be in my car, windows rolled up, sunglasses on.
You walk by these places. No one no,
raccoon
knows
hat on.
They-
the Daniel Boone hat on, the
fucking
fake
Just trying to,
mustache.
they all sit there and they're like, and they get wings during the day and stuff, and eat and drink and talk,
Yeah.
and they're all just smiling and
Yeah,
happy.
great.
And it's like you're all just around pussy all day long.
Yeah.
You're just in a good mood.
Yeah.
And they have good jobs. They don't wait. Everyone pays their own way.
And women will look. Some women get
They're just
turned
happy.
on. Some women get turned on by guys that are fucked up and perverted and aggressive, and they get turned on by just manly shit, like manly
Yeah.
violent sort of
Some
behavior.
dudes do too.
But some women don't, and the one thing is the women will never totally understand it because they're not a woman. Just like a man's never going to totally understand what it's like to be pregnant, will never be able to wrap your head around wanting a baby to grow inside you, or wanting a dick in your mouth or in your pussy. You're not going to be able to wrap your head around that. You're not a woman. And I think what gay guys have going for them is they're fucking men. They understand what it's like to be a man. There's no confusion. They're turned on by men, and they are men. So it's like everybody knows what the fuck is up. Whereas it's not like this charade that you have to play when
You
you're
ever have
trying to
to,
get a girl to like you.
You ever have to ask for like a BJ or something and hint at it? If that was a man there, he'd be like, "Oh, you're drunk. Let me blow you and get you to bed."
Yeah. Yeah, well, unless he was a greedy bitch. Didn't want to blow you.
Yeah.
Just wanted you to blow him all the time. Apparently, that happens in a lot of gay relationships.
Yeah.
There's this weird like
One-sided.
master-slave sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think
This is
guys
right here
like that,
too.
too.
It's mostly not butt fucking.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
hear.
almost all oral and hand jobs.
Hand jobs. How dare you? How horny are you? How dare they?
Hand jobs also means inserting stuff into your asshole as they fucking
Oh,
jerk you
whoa,
off.
well, now you're talking a party.
I mean, yeah.
That's like
oh
one
yeah,
of
I
those
should have mentioned it's a party.
freeze-dried foods once you add the hot water. Woo!
It all pops out.
Yeah, let the party
Beautiful,
begin.
like the fucking Peter Pan. What was it? We had water to it. What movie was that? It was some fantastical movie.
It's interesting that people have a problem with
It's like-
gay people. It's interesting that people, I think they worry about gay people being pedophiles. There's a big difference between being a pedophile and being gay. And there's a lot of gay people that want to have nothing to do with young guys. In fact, like one
Also,
of
you can
Brian
get
Callen's friends
Yeah.
was a gay guy, and he was attracted to guys like John McCain's age.
Oh, yeah,
He was attracted
older.
to like older businessmen.
My friend Rachel's into girls that are older. She was like, "Yeah, I'm dating this 52-year-old now." I was like, "Ew, Rachel,
52.
ew." But then I realized the 52-year-old is just getting a younger chick.
Yeah.
Maybe she likes it because like she takes care of her or something.
Oh,
She
I was
got
like, "Is it all
money.
saggy and shit?" She goes, "Ari, shut up." I'm like, "Is it? It is." Ugh.
Yeah, it's just wrinkly gray skin. And she
Yeah.
just slaps it under her face like a dead octopus. Slop.
But either side of her vagina, over your lips, over your ears.
All
Just
she does
dig
is
in.
stick her tongue out unenthusiastically, and the big lesbian just grinds her clit on their tongue. Just keep your tongue out. That face hugger pussy just rubs up and down her tongue. She doesn't really lick the pussy as much as she just sits there with her tongue out and this look on her face. He's like this. This big fucking giant floppy face hugger pussy. Oh, fucking right there. Oh, fucking right there, you bitch. Oh, keep your tongue out. Keep your tongue out. I'm getting thirsty. I'm almost done. I'm getting thirsty. Imagine someone's complaining. Like, you don't know. When you complain about getting thirsty, she starts from scratch, you fucking selfish cunt. Just keep your tongue out there and shut the fuck up. Do you want to drive a Range Rover? You do, okay? Well, this woman's going to get you a Range Rover. But you got to keep your tongue out. It's a good deal.
Tongue out. It's a small price to pay for a Range Rover. It works off-road.
Get you a Range Rover, you fucking bitch. Get you a fucking Range Rover. The aggressive female gay type.
Yeah, what do people with angry
type.
About gays? What is that exactly?
They're fools.
Because they're gay.
But what is it?
They're
It's not just fools.
confused. I don't think it's that. I think they're scared. They're scared of that somehow or another that the gay person somehow or another is going to get a hold of them and turn them into a gay person or something.
Dudes are so scared of being gay that they will not let a woman touch their asshole or do anything with it. Because gay people have used that in an act somewhere, they will not allow a woman to make it.
Yeah.
Like, they can't even appreciate their own body in any way.
Yeah, we're suppressed. We're all fucked up, man.
I can't fucking do that shit.
You can't?
If some girl's like, I'm going to strap on a dildo and fuck you, I'm like, I know that's not gay in any way.
No.
You have butt
that
problems.
doesn't sound like fun at all. That does not sound like fun. A girl putting on a strap on and fucking you. Like, who are you and what are you trying to do? Because, okay, you don't even feel that strap on, you crazy bitch. It's not like it's a part of your body.
Patrice used to like fucking hookers with dildos.
Okay.
Like pushing it into him.
I don't get that. I really don't get that.
Same sort of thing. Me neither.
But everybody's got their own thing.
Everybody's got their own thing.
There's nothing wrong with it as long as you make an agreement with said hooker. You know, you guys.
Hey, listen, right before I come, I got to stick my finger in my ear.
Yeah, you wrap it down. You know? Yeah. It's you know, sex is such a weird thing because it's all just about what feels good to your body. That's what it's about. It's about people doing things to each other's body that make them feel good. But there's so many negative connotations. First of all, the diseases. That's a big one. I read that, like, gonorrhea, that there were something like 300,000 cases of gonorrhea in America in 2010.
In America?
Yes. 300. I'll look it up right now because I think 300,000 cases of gonorrhea.
It's 1 out of like 1,300 people.
Yes.
I know 1,300 people. Oh, of course I know someone with gonorrhea too.
Yeah. That seems about normal.
Yeah, that's totally right.
I would be more shocked with.
Just got it.
I'd be more shocked with crabs. Like I never hear crabs
anymore. I've never even heard of
crabs. Did they kill them off?
According to August 9, 2012, there were approximately 300 reported cases of gonorrhea each year.
300?
300,000.
In America or across?
Yeah, in America. I was right.
Wow. Now, is gonorrhea one that comes back and then gets cured, or is that the one you get forever?
You cure it. You get a little shot of penicillin.
That's the one they did in Boardwalk Empire, where they had to shoot this thing up your dick hole and pull it, strain it all out.
So let's stop and think about that. There's probably a lot of money in treating gonorrhea. Think about the amount of money. What if we found out that like the medicine responsible for treating gonorrhea was also responsible for commercials that shows chicks acting like whores? Like you thought they were selling Nikes, but really they're selling pussy because it's partially sponsored by the gonorrhea medication community.
They're just trying to get them going.
Yeah. Like there's dudes that are gonorrhea mercenaries, and they go out there, they give them gonorrhea, and then there's like the guys that are studs, they just can fuck a lot of bitches, and they create like infest a whole town with gonorrhea just so they can sell the medication.
Who's trying to sell people to stop smoking so he can chew gum, and they found out he's from the Chewy gum factory.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that would be hilarious if they were doing that to spread disease.
Yeah.
Bring down girls. They make porn everywhere. They try to just make it have more gonorrhea.
Well, you know, that's a weird thing about the strange groups of like the branch off groups of gay people that
what do you mean branch off?
You know, those weird branches.
Oh, yeah.
Those what is the expression? Not branch off, but whatever. When what I'm talking about is bug chasers.
Oh, other people want AIDS.
Yeah, dudes who go out and try to get HIV positive. They want guys to shoot loads in their ass and make them HIV positive. Wow. It's like, what?
They're so tied in with like this is a gay disease. Grids.
Yeah, that is a crazy request, though.
That's my favorite
The idea
thing.
that you want to go and get AIDS. Like, you're trying to go out and get HIV. Like, what? But that just goes to show you that there's that many crazy people. People are so fucking nuts. There's a certain amount of people that want to tattoo their face and stretch out their lips and stretch out their ears. You know, there's a certain amount of people that want to fucking you pierce their dicks. There's a certain amount of people that want AIDS. Like, I want AIDS.
I saw two people with those giant, like those big round, like $50 or full coin dollar size earrings in.
Yeah.
Let's really push it out.
Right.
Guy and a girl. And the guy came up to me after Portland and said hi and stuff. And I was like, oh, are you guys together?
Both with your crazy ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, this restaurant that we were at in Montana had a dude who was working there has ears like that. It's
Dude,
like
can your
super
ears go
common
back?
now. No, you have to get them stitched up.
Oh.
Yeah, that's no joke.
Oh.
That's pretty serious. I mean, literally, they have to go in and they have to pull your fucking meat together and stitch it up, and they probably have to cut some of it off.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you would have to cut some of it off.
You'd have to cut some of it off. Yeah, it's fucking gross, man. It's a weird thing that people want to do. Like, I saw this pretty girl the other day. She's really pretty. She came to the show, and afterwards, she had this giant ring in her nose, like a bull ring.
I hate it.
Oh, massive one.
Yeah. I was like, I mean,
It's aesthetics.
I'm
It's
not
certain
into
people are
it. I'm not into it, so I can
But you
never
like a girl with
judge.
tattoos, though, right?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
pretty
that.
hot.
That's hot. Yeah, especially if they're good. It's good work.
Yeah, if it's good clear and it's got red and black, not just all black, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, and it also shows she's just dirty.
Yeah.
She's just getting drilled on. She could take the pain. That's a
Oh,
girl who
maybe.
could take a serious fucking, girls who like complain a lot about stuff.
Yeah.
Who's get their phone on? Which one of you fucks?
Um,
That was one of the weirdest thing, man, is this little thing called Vibrate. And I forgot
about it.
That's one of the weirdest things about being there was no cell phone, no email, no nothing for 5
Yeah,
days.
that must have been cool.
It was strange. You got a lot of energy, man. I wonder
And
how
you think
much.
it's just from that, not the being outside?
Probably
and
the
all the above.
air. It's probably everything.
of
Yeah.
it.
all the above. All the above. I think it's walking around.
I left my
think
phone
it's-
at home last night for 4 hours at this comedy store. And
panic?
it was like, but I did it on purpose. I was like, nah, let me leave it here to charge.
Whoa.
And it was like, I'll be okay at fucking 11 p.m. at night to whenever.
And you're talking about like down the street from your house.
Yeah. So it's like nobody. Yeah. But you still got to concentrate on it.
Yeah, we're eventually going to become a symbiotic machine. We're going to be part machine.
You think so?
Yeah, it's just going that way.
Yeah, it would have to be.
We're already connected to your phone. I mean, what difference does it make if they told you that we have a new phone that's more effective if you don't carry it? We insert it into your thigh, and they figure
Great.
out a way. Oh, by the way, Brian, we're going to be able to upload all the shows live on YouTube as well now, and we'll be able to stream them on YouTube. We got a new thing going on. We're going to be able
we
to
leaving Ustream?
stream. No, we're going to do it at the same time.
Oh.
Simultaneous.
Simultaneous.
How about that? That's possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 feeds, 2 video feeds.
We got to get some hardcore bandwidth.
Okay.
We're going to get, I guess, 2 computers or something. I don't know. That's
Let's
kind
try
of tricky.
it.
We'll think
Let's see if
about
we can try
Yeah.
it, because otherwise we can at least upload them. We can start uploading them to YouTube.
Yeah,
YouTube.
the problem I have with YouTube is that I've always tried to do the live streaming thing, and it always never works right.
Really?
It crashes a lot.
Maybe we could try it. We'll try it.
Yeah.
We'll see what's up. I don't know what my internet's like at the new place. We'll see. We won't see until they're putting the bricks on the walls this week. I'm making it fancy, folks. I'm making it like Billy Joel's Italian restaurant. That's the theme. Bottle of red, bottle of white. Whatever kind of mood you're in tonight. Yeah, I just thought that they can get bricks. First of all, there's 2 reasons for putting bricks in the wall. The number 1 reason is to Joey Diaz the room. What the fuck? I got a Joey Diaz proof this cocksucker. There's a business next door, and I don't want Joey screaming through the walls. I don't think it would show up. But so I'm taking significant steps to deaden some of the sound in the room, and one of them is to put up a brick wall.
You know what
Oh,
would have
the
been
new place?
cheaper?
Yeah.
It would
I'm
have been
excited.
cheaper just get a big bubble, one of those bubble boy bubbles for Joey Diaz, and just have him walk around like a hamster
Big
everywhere.
giant plastic tent,
Like Wayne
cocksucker.
Coyne, just going for it.
Yeah, I'm. They take bricks that they like wreck a building, and then
yeah.
they take bricks and they slice the veneer off the brick, and then they put that on a regular wall. So it adds like another wall layer,
Yeah.
So I figured that would be pretty good to prevent some sound. And then I'm also got these curtains that are going up that have like a sound deadening backing to them.
Okay.
I'm putting
The
those
thick
up
ones,
as
they put those in
well.
casinos.
Yeah, and I'm just it's taking some time, folks, but it's because I'm doing it while I'm doing all these other things at the same time.
How long
And
do you think if you had to guess your over-under?
this week is going to be the bricks will be done. The desk is done, so I have all the equipment in. So not that bad. Once the once the bricks are up on the wall and I got the wall painted
Before
and-
the end of the year?
Yeah, I think so. I think in December. I think my goal is before we do the End of the World show with Honey and Diaz and Stanhope, that we do a podcast like the night before. That would be my goal, is to open up the studio that week and do a podcast there the night before. But once we have it up and running, it's going to be I just wanted to get a place that's going to be a place that I can kind of completely control the environment and make it like as cool inside as I can, set it up as technically perfect, a really nice big desk and have it fairly close to
this
where I
place
live.
has really become fucking
high tech.
Yeah, well, no, just
freaky.
the decor. I mean, it's really it's like a clubhouse.
This is inside Brian's brain.
Yeah, this is.
If you could open up his brain with a can opener, the Hitler zombie would pop right out. I had a crazy ass dream the other night, man. A weird alpha brain dream that I was on. What do you got there, fella?
Coke Zero.
Your tail? Okay. This man's almost 40. Look at him. Clutching a Coke Zero like he's in prison.
Are you going trick-or-treating with the fam?
Oh, yeah, bro.
That's a cool part of Halloween. That I would do.
We did it. We went trick-or-treating in Disneyland.
Oh, wow.
So people come through your neighborhood and do it?
We did it. Yeah. We're gonna go walk the neighborhood too.
Yeah,
and there's
what day is
the
that?
community that I live in has like a little thing.
Wednesday.
They have like a little party. They have like a little live DJ and stuff. It's kind of fun.
Wednesday's the day that I have to turn off all my lights and not answer my door.
Why?
Why is that?
Because it's annoying.
You just turn it off your porch light.
It's so
Here's some
annoying.
candy. Like, no, candy's mine. I have like.
You have to hide. Ding
four Twizzlers
dong,
left.
ding dong, ding dong,
Yeah.
ding dong. Yeah.
I'm flying to Calgary this year on Halloween. I got out of it. They were
Oh,
like, they want to
really?
fly there the day before, but it's Halloween. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Let's
Wow.
do that.
Yeah. You're working
I
where?
can avoid it.
What's the club in Calgary?
Yuck yucks.
Oh, powerful yuck yucks. Ladies and gentlemen, head on out to see Ari motherfucking Shaffir. You were with me in Calgary, right? This
Yeah.
year?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I
cool.
bet you get a lot of people come from that show.
That was only
Those
20
were
minutes.
fun.
This will be an hour.
Yeah. And I bet you have a lot of new shit anyway. You've been working
Mm-hmm.
on a lot of shit, right?
I'm starting to.
That's one of the cool things about everybody doing all these shows and putting out CDs like yours and Joey's is that we're constantly putting in new material.
Yeah.
It's fun. So like
Well, it
I
gives you
feel
a good
very
reason to.
I feel very challenged.
Yeah.
It feels fun.
I haven't really felt like this since open mics.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was in Boston, but in LA it was the same people seeing you all the time. So really, every week you had to have something new, or you're an asshole. You know?
We're getting a lot of these people that are just like that are coming to a lot of the shows.
Yeah.
It's
At
like
least every year. It's
there's
like,
a crazy little Grateful Dead thing going on. It's weird.
people are flying for me and Joey in Chicago, November 8th, by the way. House of Blues. People are flying in. People are making like meetups and stuff.
Of course they are.
I love that shit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out our own Gathering of the Juggalos type situation.
No, it's.
Duncan wants to do it in the desert, man.
I want to go out with Manson. Have
Guys, I'm telling you, the Palm Springs area.
We'll get handed so many mushrooms
Let's
if
go
we
to
do that.
Joshua Tree, man. Let's fucking do it. I can't believe we did that.
Joe, would you ever do this? The guy Post-Apoc, I've talked about him before. He's like
Post-apocalyptic?
postapoc.com guy.
What is he?
He's the one that sent me that package once where I thought it was a bomb or something, and it just ended up being a really cool pipe that he made.
Okay.
He's always sending me like cool things. Anyways, he goes to thrift stores and buys old bottles of sodas. Here, let me get to the point.
Oh, bottles of sodas and just
and
what?
he drinks them. So this is like a 70-year-old bottle of grape soda.
Dude, I just drank Coke Original.
He's like,
And I've been wanting to break that record.
It's flat as shit, right?
well, it's acidy and shit like that.
Is that his artwork in the background?
Yeah, I think so.
That is a badass picture. The dude with the gas mask.
Gas mask.
Dude, his website's really badass. Anyways,
By the way, the new higher primate gas mask monkey shirt is available, and plus pictures of. Go to higher-primate.com.
but he drinks it,
Higher
and
primate
he
shirts
says
are
it
cool.
tastes like
You should-
it's like copper almost, and that.
Okay, well let's let him talk.
Okay.
Instead of a rubber gasket, it's real cork.
Wow.
They have a little real corkwood disc inside the bottle cap. I thought that was botulism or fungus of some kind when I first opened it. Thought we were gonna have to end this video early. We held this up to the light. We saw no floaties,
Who was he talking about?
no monsters or little squids or anything.
Is he talking about himself? as
Him and
we?
his personality.
Wow.
Him and the camera guy.
He's like Roy Jones
Smells
Jr.
strongly like grape Dymatap. I mean, super strong grape flavor. This could be fermented to all hell, and I can pour this down my throat, and you'll see it just burn right through my Death Squad shirt right here.
I really.
Are we watching a guy just drinking soda?
Yeah, but it's like from the 1947.
All right, it tastes like grape-flavored, like nasty pond water. It's
Okay.
Right.
That really wasn't that interesting.
Yeah, I just thought it was weird. I mean,
It's
would
kinda
you do
gross.
that? Would you do that? I would
No.
never do that.
I drank a bottle of Coke Original. I
Oh.
had these 3 of them saved from when I was little.
Really?
Yeah.
What did it taste like?
Super flat. Coke, super flat Coke, pretty much.
Just Coke.
He ends
I
up
mean,
puking in the
slightly
video.
off, but not much.
Yeah, of course.
Does he really?
Yeah, he
Throws
said
up because of it?
it's-
He's a silly bitch. You're not supposed to
I
drink
didn't
that. Why are you
didn't
drinking
puke.
that? Well, I don't understand why people would like think that it's interesting to drink something gross that's been around for a
But
long
like,
time.
Probably
if it could last
poisonous.
that long, like a wine, then sure, whatever. But if it can't last that long, then what are you doing? It's gone. It's gone rotten.
That's a weird thing that people do with wines. You know, keep wines around for hundreds of years and then drink them, or scotches.
I love it. That sounds like hoarding behavior. It's like there's only a few left. Just don't. You gotta wait.
Yeah,
That's what I do with weeds now. I'll have like a few different strains of weed, and if it'll be good, I'll go through half of it right away, and then I'll be like, oh, I only have like half of it left. So when it gets like slower that I use it, and then I only go back to it every couple of months.
you hoard it.
I'm like the last of the Maui Wowie. Let's just slow it down a little.
Why would you do that when you can just get more?
I always sort of forget that I can go get more. I don't want it to be gone.
That's a problem with living in parts of the country that's not like California.
Yeah.
The world really would change if the rest of the country was like Colorado and California. Those are the 2 places where you can get weed anywhere.
Did they not shut down dispensaries in Colorado?
No.
Only here.
Yeah, they shut them down a lot more here. I'm sure they have shut down some of them in Colorado.
We're a lot more like on the radar.
They're on the radar in Colorado, man. There's
But
a
it's
lot
like
of people,
people
but
point to us here.
but
That's the
it's
problem.
more accepted, and I think it's more accepted by the people in
Colorado.
Colorado than it is the people of LA. The people of LA, this is a little bit of a battle.
In Portland, it was just everywhere.
Oh yeah,
Everyone,
Portland's
because
everywhere.
they're all fucking nature boys too, so they all grow shit. It's part of their garden. Like, yeah, I'll have a weed plant too.
they're
Everyone
smart.
likes their own weed.
It's smart places. In
Yeah.
smart places, look, I'm not pro drugs, period, because some drugs are fucking terrible. I'm not pro pills. I'm not pro meth. I'm not pro that. But if you're not pro weed, you have to be a fucking idiot. If you really think that there's something wrong with it and it's bad for society, you got to be an idiot, or you're ignorant. You don't understand what's really going on with it, because what's really going on is not a bad thing. It's a humbling thing. Everybody could use a little bit of humbling. Sure, there's going to be some people that just sit around and smoke pot all day and don't get anything done. But that's a psychological problem. They have issues. That issue could manifest itself that way, or it could manifest itself by them being perpetually late, or it could they could fucking sabotage themselves. People have weird issues. So they could sabotage themselves with weed or with anything else they choose to do it with. That doesn't mean that it can't be used the right way.
Yeah,
Silly
do you think people are
bitches.
burnouts because of weed, or they're just burnouts and then they
They were
just
losers
go to
already.
weed?
I think there are burnouts for weed.
The weed helps it
definitely.
along too.
Well, anything can help you along if you don't have any resolve.
Yeah.
If you don't have any fucking
And
desire to
if you
accomplish
smoke
things
that
in
shit
life,
weed,
it's a little bit of that. Yeah, you smoke that.
that's a lot of it. Get some good stuff.
Smoke that chronic dog.
Some people it just doesn't mix well. Also,
Yeah, there's
That's
that.
true too. Yeah, there's some people where everything. Look, people get fucking sick if
Kathy
you give them
Tanaka
nuts.
could not get high.
Yeah,
And
heard about
I've
that.
heard of that. Oh, I told you about it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
yeah.
I heard that works with DMT too. There's certain
Some
people
people
that
just can't.
DMT just doesn't work on them. Small percentage of people, but every now and then.
I heard somebody went to a float lab and she was just like, nah, it wasn't really any hallucinating. It was just like,
Yeah,
A float lab,
not
that's
float, like a
different.
floating tank or whatever.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
takes some time. The float tank is not. It's not like instant hallucinations. You got to really get comfortable with letting go and
Yeah.
like you finding like the center of your thoughts. That's not easy. It's easy to distract yourself.
So what would you try to do?
You got to get strong mentally. You have to learn how to meditate. When you get into a float tank, it's not as simple as you get in there and you start tripping, because you get in there, you're still thinking, oh my God, I'm floating. Oh my God, this feels weird. Where's the side? It's right here. Oh, my balls itch. You start thinking a bunch of different things, and you have to have control of your mind. It's not as simple as you get in the float tank, boom, you have hallucinations. You have to get in the float tank, and you got to start that process on your own. You have to center yourself. You have to concentrate only on your breath, drop everything, slowly but surely remove all the layers of consciousness, all the layers of letting go, until you get to the center. And that's when you start having these crazy visionary experiences.
That's
But-
kind of like the same thing on mushrooms. It's like when you're talking to your friends and laughing and stuff, it's fun. You don't hallucinate, and then you just stop and like look up at the stars
Mm-hmm.
and just don't talk or listen to anyone, that's when you start seeing shit.
Yeah.
This guy just was telling me the other day about the same thing. Like, he went and he was more of just like, all right, I'm just bored, and I'm just laying here. This is really stupid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, if you don't know how to use it,
Yeah.
it's like anything else. You have to
So
learn
it's
how
that.
to
So it's a lot of
relax.
centering your thoughts and trying to
yeah,
get rid of
it's-
all of them.
For the idea behind the sensory deprivation tank is that there's no input coming in, and when there's no input coming in, you could just sit there and go, "Oh, this sucks. I'm bored," or you could just slowly let go of all your consciousness to the point where you are just your mind untethered from culture, from any interactive experience with nature, with gravity, with seeing things or hearing things or touching things. You're removed from all sensory input. And when you do that, you can have very clear and intense thoughts. And you can also have some pretty powerful hallucinations if you allow yourself to manifest those ideas. But you have to learn how to let go to do that. You can't just get in there. It doesn't just happen right away. You start thinking about your life. You start thinking about things that you can't avoid. You start thinking about things that have been bothering you.
Wouldn't
maybe things
weed
you
make
don't
your
like
mind
about
wander
yourself. No, not necessarily. I mean, it depends on what's going on in your head. But for the most part, weed just sort of accentuates the experience.
I've done a small version of this on planes recently, where I've just taken some pot cookie or something if it's gonna be a long flight, and just say, I'm not getting anything done here, but I'm not tired. It's when I've slept and it's like a 2 p.m. flight or something. Then I just look out the window and I just stare out the window and just let my mind just go the entire time.
Yeah,
Don't bother with drinks
that's
or
the only
anything.
way I really get blasted these days is on planes.
Yeah.
Because when
And the scenery enough from the outside can help you just start a synapse going a little bit. And then,
Sure. Also, it's like the only time when I don't have any responsibilities.
Yeah.
I don't
Right,
have
there's
to
nothing
take
else.
care of my kids. I don't have to be sober.
Yeah. When there's no Wi-Fi in the
Yeah.
plane, it's even better. It's like I can't do anything.
Yeah. It's a great way to write too. 10 minutes. I'm about to bring this
Yeah.
bitch up.
Well, I'll leave a
About to bring
notebook
this
on my
bitch
lap, and just like if I get a thought that I'm like, oh gosh, that could work and then I quickly write it down.
I type so much better than I write.
Really?
I hardly write anything anymore, and I could type pretty quick. I type really quick now, so I have to type. But I like it, man. I really love writing on planes. It's one of my favorite things. I write some of my best shit ever on planes.
Yeah.
High as fuck on
I've
a
really started
plane.
flying later now, so I can do that.
Yeah.
Because it is a good place to just get away from everything and
Get things done.
yeah.
Yeah, when you're sitting in that seat, you got nowhere to go, and you got that laptop open. You can get.
I
get
slept
to
till
work.
noon. I'm not, crank, and then it's just like now it's yeah.
Don't you? Do you feel now that you're having all this success and things are going well? You feel like even more motivated, like you're like fucking really hustling now and really putting in the work.
Yeah. Doing more stuff.
Yeah.
Doing more.
Isn't it
I'm
funny?
ready to
how
record
that-
my next thing.
how motion begets more motion.
Yeah. People are a force of habit.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
And
And when
if you have
people that work out
positive
all the
habits,
time, it's just
yeah.
like that's your habit. And when
Yep.
you don't all the time, then that's your habit.
Yeah, and that's one thing that people have kept telling me over and over again from this podcast. One of the things that they pulled from it is that it's changed the way they sort of address and approach things.
Yeah.
And people, sometimes people just need to hear something. And that's like one of the reasons why I love that book, The War of Art. I probably understand and have thought most of the things in that book on my own independently. I think a lot
You
of creative
can't piece
people
it together.
It's not that you can't piece it together. Sometimes you need to read it again. You need to
Right.
see it again. You need to be reminded again. You need
Well,
to
it's clearer when it's written out or when you can actually see it or
or
actually
when it's
toss it
spelled
over your
out, or
head.
when
Yeah.
someone says it in a way that resonates with how you feel about the world. And I think that's one way that we can all help each other in a way that no one of past generations was able to do. One of the different things about this sort of a medium, like a podcast medium,
quick contact with everyone in the world.
quick contact with everyone in the world, and you can express things in a way that you really couldn't do if you were sponsored by Palmolive or fucking Toyota
right,
trucks.
right.
Or, it's like you would have never gotten all this information out as clearly as we're doing it right now.
Yeah, just saying it.
Yeah. Strange times, Ari Shaffir. Powerful
Yeah, dude.
Ari Shaffir of the Skeptic Tank on
Yeah, listen to my
iTunes.
podcast.
You dirty bitches. Check out Ari's podcast and buy his
I
fucking
had Mike
CD.
Young last time.
Oh, how
Oh,
dare
yeah.
It was so good.
you. What happened?
He just talks about how he's able to to fuck so
Oh,
much.
how he's able to
and how
get
he's
pussy.
always had that power.
Well, he's a smooth talker.
Dude, he's amazing.
Smooth operator. Smooth operator.
Yeah, check out my website, arithegreat.com.
Please.
My dates are on
say,
there.
Please check out
Please
my
check
website.
out my website. I'll be in
Say, love
Chicago
me,
and New
I'll love you
York.
back.
And love me and I'll love you back. And
Yeah.
Edmonton
And you just got done doing a fucking return homecoming gig in the place where you started, and you came
Oh, yeah,
back
the
as a
DC Improv.
conquering hero.
That felt good, dude.
I bet it did.
You know how it's like at any level, no matter where you are, there's certain shows that are just important to you.
Yeah.
And it might not be because of money or anything.
You wanted to let everybody know. That's where you started.
Yeah, and a bunch of friends from high school came out. It was kind of cool. My aunt came.
That's
You know?
awesome.
It was just like, and people were like, oh, it's like way different than last
Dude,
time. I was like,
you
yeah, I wrote a new
you're
hour.
You're fucking professional now.
Yeah, it felt
You're a real
yeah.
professional. You're legit. Too legit to quit. hey. Okay, this weekend, you fucking freaks. San Francisco at the Nob Hill Masonic Center. That is November the 2nd on Friday. And then Saturday night, the Moore Theater in Seattle. And that shit is sold out. Both nights will be Brian Redban and Greg motherfucking Fitzsimmons with me. So we're going to have some fun. San Francisco and Seattle, you dirty bitches. Tomorrow, the great Duncan Trussell will join us on the podcast.
Nice.
Boom. Holla at your boy. And we will also have a podcast on Wednesday. I'm not sure who's going to be. We're working on a couple different guests. What?
If you go to my website, if you're poor, I'm giving away 4 free tracks of my CD.
Ooh, look at that. Free
It's a great CD.
shit from Ari. Of course it is. That was why it was number 1 on iTunes.
Thank you all. If you bought
Validation.
it. Thank you all very much. I
Buy
really
it
appreciate
again. Let's see if we can bring that shit back to number 1 again. I think
Back
we
to
can
number
do
1.
it. I'm gonna go buy one as soon as I get off the phone.
Ari Shaffir.
I'm not on the phone.
Oh, I mean,
What
you're
the
artists.
fuck am I talking about? This podcast is brought to you by Ting.com. Go to Rogan.ting.com. And you will save $50 off of any Android device that they have. And they have regular cell phones, too, if you're one of those fucking weirdos who just wants to not be able to get on the internet on your phone. Like, I'm old school, you fuckhead. Check out Ting, a very reasonable and excellent cell phone provider. They don't cause contracts. They don't require contracts.
Is that
And
you?
it's all spelled out. I didn't make the ding, you son of a bitch.
I
You know
swear
what
to
the
God, I
fuck
did
you
not do that.
That's the FBI telling us our time is up. Maybe it's Ustream.
It was
You
a
should
ting.
tell
That's
us.
the ting.
What the fuck was that?
No, we're still online.
Oh, that's your.
Oh, that's
You.
you.
You
son of a
I wanted
gun.
to see you guys fight for a while.
Go to. We
I
don't
wasn't trying to fool either one of you, but I'm like,
fight that
ooh,
easy. How dare
I
you?
accidentally got a joke going.
Go to onit.com, ONNIT. Use the code name Rogan and save yourself 10% off any supplements. That includes Hemp Force, the delicious hemp protein powder with maca and raw cocoa. It's fucking delicious. With stevia, only 1 gram of sugar per serving. It's not, we don't even add that. It's just what's in the hemp and all the juicy good shit that we put in it. All right. That's the end of the podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for all the positive tweets. Thanks for all the love.
Thank you
And,
for everybody who's come to my shows.
Thank you, anybody who comes to all of our shows. We appreciate the fuck out of you guys.
Yeah.
Death Squad, Ohio.
Death Squad rolls on, bitches. Oh, Death Squad, Ohio is November 11th. Is sold out, right?
No, it's 8th, 9th, and 10th, and only this 8 o'clock Columbus show is sold out.
Okay,
Where are the other
so
two?
what date is sold out?
Columbus first show, I believe, is the one.
And what date is that, though?
I think that's the 10th.
The 10th, okay.
So the 8th and 9th is still open.
So 8th and 9th is still, and go to deathsquad.tv, and you can also pick up some super
Are those all
sexy
in
kitty
Columbus?
cat t-shirts.
Yeah, it's 2 Columbus shows, 1 Dayton, 1 Cincinnati.
And by the way, Tom Segura is going, and
Yeah.
if you haven't seen Tom, he
He's
is
amazing.
fucking on fire right now too. He's one of the best in the country. He really is. He's awesome. And Tony Hinchcliffe as well.
Tony Hinchcliffe's going to be
Excellent.
on a couple, and so is Doug Benson.
An excellent show, ladies and gentlemen. An excellent show. And also, if you go to deathsquad.tv, you can pick up some of Brian's funky, psychedelic kitty cats. And no, that's not a Wendy's sign. The fuck are you talking about? I don't
They
even know what
changed
you're
their
saying.
logo the other day.
Yeah, good. They better. Dirty bitches. Step. Powerful White Castle's in the house as well. Shout out.
Oh, yeah, well, shout out to White
Shout out to
Castle.
White Castle.
Give it up for black people in general.
I have given up on the Olive Garden. They do not want me to support them, but White Castle has been supporting me by
Yeah.
giving me T-shirts.
I think that, believe it or not, the Olive Garden is too white for Brian Redban.
Yeah.
They're too white.
White
They can't
Castle's
handle
cool,
us.
though.
We'll be back
We have
tomorrow,
nothing
ladies and
against
gentlemen.
family, but it's over with the Olive Garden.
We love the fucking shit out of you people. We'll see you soon. And we're not going anywhere. We're gonna roll on. We're taking it to the next level. I don't even know like
It's the
saying
best
that.
ending I've ever heard.
I fucking love you bitches.